out of apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You into an Apartment 5B hosted by your guy, Kill. Yo, I've got my squad with me. It's a packed house tonight. I cannot wait. Little sis, Porsche, the co-host, not just a panelist. What's going on, miss?
Oh, not much, Kill. Good to be here.
No doubt. JR, the R&B guru. What's going on, good brother?
What's going on? Ready to learn today. Let's do this.
Right, no doubt. Rel, back in pocket, feeling better.
Yeah. Happy to be here and healthy, man.
Right? No doubt. We got a mayor, my guy.
Peace.
I always tell people, my album 2021, dopest album of the year for me. Pete Rock and the Mayor, 21 grams right here. If you ain't heard it, this was my #1 album of the year for last year. So if y'all ain't got this, y'all need to tap in on that. What's going on with you, Mayor?
One day at a time, man. Just one day at a time, bro. You know me.
I feel you. So, this is a special show for me because I got my peoples with me today. These two guys right here, Brooklyn Kill, you know what I mean? You got Philly Kill, this is Brooklyn Kill. You got my brother Sherrod. When people ask me about my polo addiction, it starts with these two guys in their crew. I came to Morgan in 92, saw Low with these two and their whole Minion crew, lost my fucking mind. I was robbing, stealing, doing whatever to get low, to be like them. And the addiction has carried on. I'm dead ass. Dudes are do a lot of wild shit just to get low, and it keeps going. I mean, I'm 47. Y'all know all I rock is low, and that's because these two guys right here, my brother Sherrod and my brother Kill. What's going on with y'all, fellas?
Good. Thank you for having us, man. Good. It's a pleasure being here. I brought something a little out for you. You know what I mean? A little custom joint. You know what I mean? BKNY 718, the Crest joint. Just for you. I see that, good brother. I see that. I tell people, I go to homecoming, niggas always be like, yo, why you so late? Nigga, I'm just going to y'all. I'm going to y'all happy hour. I don't even care about the yard. I just go
for real.
That's all it really is.
For real.
I got my brother Trey Lee, the Philadelphia legend, in the building. What's going on, good brother?
What up, man? This is going to be a very, very intense and emotional and an exciting conversation. I can't wait.
No doubt. Y'all know me. Let's get right to it. We are talking about the infamous Kool Moe Dee report card that I don't know how this just reared its ugly head again, because I've seen this before, like years ago. Like I want to say Moe Dee wrote a book and this was in it years ago, and cats were talking about, but somehow this came back up. We're gonna be looking at everything. Like, number one, is Moe Dee qualified to really give a report card on these MCs? The second question that my two brothers from Brooklyn brought up in Queens, I apologize. What year was this? And I want to say this is maybe 97, 98, because they had DMX on it. You know what I mean? So I'm assuming he had to write this in about that year, because we got DMX, we've got Pun. That's like 97, 98, right?
I think he wrote it in 99. I think I heard.
In 99.
Somewhere. But I could not.
Yeah, it was about 97.
97? Okay, so we're in somewhere between 97 and 99. We're going to be talking about that. And again, please, all know, I love Kool Moe Dee, respect him to death, Treacherous 3, Beach Street, How You Like Me Now, all that great shit. But is he qualified to write this list? What's the number one thing that stood out for you? What's wrong with this list? Because there's a lot wrong with this list. And what do you think of these categories? What do you think of the categories, and if you like them, what would be your top 5 and what order that you want from an MC? So, Porsche, why don't you set us off? Ladies first, as always. Do you think Moe Dee is qualified? Now, let me break down qualified. Anybody can do a report card. Anybody can do that. Y'all know me. I'm an educator, so I'm big on this. Substitute teachers will give you a report card, and my teams be like, yo, that chick ain't qualified. She ain't been here all year. So, do you think Moe Dee, and this is no disrespect to Moe Dee, do you think he is qualified? And what I mean by that is, do you respect? Maybe that's a better question. When you saw this report card, even before you saw it and you heard Moe Dee did it, did you think, oh, this shit gonna be good? What do you think, Portia?
I mean, when you frame the question that way, not really, and not because I don't respect Moe Dee. That's not it at all. It's just like I wasn't like, oh, I don't think I get like that about anybody. Like, to be honest, personally, I'm not like, oh, you know, like even if Pete Rock came out with a report card, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, Pete Rock wrote it. Like, this is going to be the Bible. Like, I'm not like that. Even Pete, I would say the same thing. Like, that's Moe Dee's opinion, you know. At the end of the day, this is still layered because when it did its rounds, and I don't know if you guys heard about this, but when it did its rounds, Rock the Bells got a hold of Moe Dee and was like, listen, bro, like, this is setting the social media ablaze. What were you thinking when you did this? And he kind of touched on some aspects and he clarified some parts. So when we see this report card and it's just circulating on social media, like, there's still layers to this. So like you always say, Kill, there's a definition for everyone's got a different definition for everything. And I think if you delve into that, you'd see Moe Dee has that same exact thing. There's a definition for everything. And it's different. So to answer your question simplistically, no, I wasn't hyped that it was Moe Dee. I didn't think it was going to be anything mind-blowing or anything that I was going to, take really,
serious
with any, seriously, exactly.
All right. This didn't move me at all. When people were sending it to me, I was like, who? Moe Dee? I'm good. You know what I mean? and that's only because it was an era for Moe Dee. You know what I mean? Like, if this was Moe Dee rating Melly Mel and Kaz
Right.
and even LL and Run, maybe to a certain 89, 90 thing, I'd be good with, because that's your thing. You know what I mean? It's almost like when you see old head NBA players rank the new ones. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Like, and I guess at the end of the day, Moe Dee's name as a lyricist to me doesn't hold enough weight for me to really be like, oh, Moe Dee said this. Like, I'm probably the opposite, Portia. Like, if Pete, maybe not even Pete, because I do believe in it coming from an MC. Like, even if Black Thought did this, then I'd be like, oh, I'm intrigued. Like, let me see what Thought said, and let me see who Thought is great. But for me, Moe Dee just it didn't move the needle for me. But that's just me personally. Again, no disrespect to Moe Dee. Love the guy. I know how y'all do with Twitter. I say I don't love something. Next thing it is, I hate the person. Respect and love Moe Dee, but just not in this way. Brooklyn Kill, what's going on, brother? When you saw this list, did you think, like, Moe Dee, were you like, get the fuck out of here? Were you intrigued? How was you when you found out Moe Dee made this list?
I was kind of indifferent, but the reason why I was indifferent is, well, I shouldn't say I was indifferent. One of the things I found funny is that the grades didn't age well. Like, some of the people that had A+ at the time, you almost never heard from them. Well, I shouldn't say never heard from them again, but in a way, you never heard from them again after that. I respect him, and I think he is qualified because he's an artist, and he's someone who was in the game and made contributions to the game in a way that I think that qualifies him.
Okay.
And that's pretty much it. And I think even if a lot of the artists he was grading were outside of his era, he would still have an ear for it, right? You know what I mean? Like, he may not be able to spit the same, obviously the same way as the new era, but he's still gonna have that ear. I've never been an artist myself, but I kind of get the feeling that no matter what era you are in, you're always gonna have at least an ear for it, and there's certain things that are gonna pull the strings of your heart. So in that instance, I do respect it, and I think that he's qualified. But I did find it funny how some of the grades didn't age well. Yeah.
Here's the wild part. After hearing that, I gotta renege on my original statement. Moe Dee is qualified because a mixture of what you just said and what I was alluding to with the NBA of when an old head is ranking the newer players. I caught myself and almost being like, but I respect the old heads. ranking the newer players. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go back and renege on mine. Moe Dee is qualified, at least in that standpoint of, like you said, even though he may not be able to spit as dope as they are, but I still feel like he's qualified. Trey, is Moe Dee qualified to do this report card in your eyes? And again, you and Amir are in the game, so I don't want, you know what I mean? Y'all may run into these niggas. Like, I'm just talking like I ain't never gonna see Moe Dee ever. You may run into these people. So if you want to, if you want to just pass it, just go right ahead. I don't want to be called to nobody. Like, nigga, you said something on 5B the other day, motherfucker. So if y'all want to pass along, I totally understand it. So.
Listen, man, I don't subscribe to the stat quo. I'm not a PC guy, and everyone knows this. So it doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying? Your opinion is your opinion, which is, you know, a fine segue to this report card. Now, as probably the resident OG on here, I think I'm the oldest, right? So I can remember. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's absolutely qualified. And the reason why I say that is because he's the original of everybody that we're talking about. Even up to this date, like him, Kaz, and Mel are the original spitters. They are the first page when it comes to spitting. When you talk about, like, the term spitting comes from these guys. They were, you know, beyond throw your hands in the air, waving, like they wasn't doing that. These dudes was interweaving in the pockets. They were saying shit. They were using vocabulary. They were, you know what I'm saying, routines, shows. So as the originator, he's a tenured MC. So, and then when he actually did it, you know what I'm saying? We ain't talking about 2021. Like, when I saw it yesterday, I just laughed because I'm like, and the reason, and I posted it on my Facebook page, and I was like, I'm gonna get a kick out of this shit because it's gonna be a lot of people that's not gonna understand that he wrote this shit 25 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing was, they're not going to, and there's a lot of people that's gonna respond that probably never even heard Moe Dee at his, you know what I'm saying, at his peak. Right. You know what I'm saying? When he was really delivering that shit and everybody was going crazy over what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I put it out there it's almost like clickbait. I'm like, watch these niggas just fall for the trap. And that's what and the first thing I said was, let the irrational, what did I say? I said, let the irrational hindsight criticism begin. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to take it for what it is now. Like, when people see Jay's grade and people see Nas's grade, like, they just came out. They had just come out, literally. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and then coming from a Moe Dee perspective, because we all MCs, you got a little ego, a little moxie with you, you know what I'm saying? So you're not going to think somebody is that much better than you, especially if they just coming in the game. They're like, man, all right, he cool, but he ain't
Trey,
rocking. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you this. What do you think is Moe Dee's pinnacle? Because, or his highest point? Because for me, I'm 47. I found out I really got into Moe Dee from Go See the Doctor. That was the first 12-inch I heard of Moe Dee.
No,
I mean, but that's why I'm asking. So you feel like the Treacherous 3 was when he was at his greatest?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
When he was giving it to him, when he battled Spoon
Busy
G,
B.
you know,
Busy B and Harlem World.
and Busy B was still doing the, you know, this shit, and he was like, nah, nigga, I'm about to roast you because I'm about to take this to a level that this game has never seen before. That's his pinnacle. You know what I'm saying?
Well, see, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that because, again, for me, Moe Dee was cool, but I was never a Moe Dee fan. You know what I mean? Like, How You Like Me Now was probably my favorite Moe Dee song. Wild Wild West was cool. I won't even hold you. When he was on Self Destruction, I was like, who let Eddie Murphy in? Why Eddie here? Why, like, you know, I'm even thinking that way. And again, but I appreciate you being the OG, the old head to talk, because I wasn't there for the Treacherous 3 days. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to sit here and act like I know the Treacherous 3 rock.
And all of that, like he was, they was it. You know what I'm saying? So to answer your question, yeah, he's tenured. He's qualified. Absolutely.
All right. No doubt. Sha, what you got?
All right. So I tried to avoid the list until you sent it to us the other day. I kept seeing people post it, and it was very scattered. I heard it was from
Moe Dee, do you think he's qualified? Do you think
so? I'm going to say, so when I saw it came from him, then I looked at it and said it's very scattered. So I'm like, what is he on, or what even was he on? Now my favorite Moe Dee song is "I Go to Work." I think that's a masterclass from Ramen. Like "I Go to Work," he was just really chopping up there. So I think as an MC, basically even what Kill said, he has an ear for music. I would think he's qualified, but then looking at this list, I'm like, I don't know what he was thinking. Because some people, like, I don't know. I feel like it was personal with a lot of the his ratings on here. So I think that he may be qualified to do it, but I feel like there was that, maybe like Trey said, some of that bravado, some of that like some of his ratings just made me question the qualification or how he was using his qualification to create this list.
Right. And I love what you said, because I agree with that. Amir, is Moe Dee qualified in your eyes to write the list?
Absolutely. But the thing is, when I look at the list and I did a little back, I'm gonna do a little bit of light research. This list was in a book, bro. The Ego Trips Book of Rap list, page 40, the lyrics, right? So it was technically would mean whoever the editor was wrote the report card, and they just look for a rapper to fill in the blanks, right? So when I say that, is it really his report card, or is it him like going to a school that has a curriculum and he just say vocabulary, articulation, creativity? And when I look at the voice, record, stage presence, sticking to themes, like some of these things are important, but are you going to do these things on every record? Is it more about the feel versus you checking somebody's report card that probably doesn't make music or write lyrics, right? So then the processes can become a tad bit convoluted, and you can have somebody I have a theme that I say to myself. You have underqualified people with overqualified ideas of who they are, right? Which gives them this sense of I can grade someone, right? As far as writing the standard for the report card. You can plop this list in, which I'm pretty sure people are going to do, moving forward, like for games, shits and giggles, but he's absolutely qualified to answer the question, yes. I looked at the source of who created the report card and who was filling it out, right? So that can make things a tad bit, I won't even call it bias, but what would be the word here? Intrinsic bias, right? Biases will play a major part in this type of conversation. So, ultimately, I think that anybody in here can fill it out and, scale of 1 to 10, but it's still going to be, like I said, it's not really a teacher grading you. It's a peer.
And just for clarification, it came from a list that he had did on an album, and it's 2 lists that I sent you, Kill. There was the Jay-Z and them list, but then there was a list from before that with his contemporaries, and that came from an album that he put out in '87. You see what I'm saying? So he's the originator, and then it was in his book. What is it? There's a God on the mic. You know what I'm saying? So all of that. Fire. So it originally came from his list of his contemporaries, which was, you know what I'm saying?
Even better.
And it stemmed from that. So this was like a re-up in the 90s. You dig?
All right. Makes sense. Yeah.
Rel, you're back in the building, good brother. Is Moe Dee qualified to write this?
Yeah, he's qualified. I mean, he had an impact, in the important stages of hip hop. He kind of, and of course I wasn't old enough, but me doing my research, he's one of the people that kind of moved the MC from the party rocking stage of rhyming to actually spitting. You know what I'm saying? So, for that alone, to me, it gives him a qualification to do this list. However, it don't mean that he wasn't drawing when he do this list. Oh, hold on. It don't mean that he wasn't tripping. My fault, because people might not want to. It don't mean he wasn't tripping when he did this list. And some of the, I don't know. And Amir made a good point, because I don't know how he filled this in, because some of the stuff is so ludicrous, but he might have just been filling in categories, and then it equaled out how it equaled out, and it's like it equaled out to somebody that's clearly not on the same level as another person being ranked higher. You know what I'm saying? So I really don't know the process. But when I looked at it, I mean, I respect Moe Dee, but I'm kind of like Porsche. Like I ain't getting excited over nobody that's like. I mean, I look at it, you know what I'm saying, but it's not like, oh, this person wrote it, you know what I'm saying. You know, I'm the biggest Nas fan in the world. If Nas wrote it, I would look. It's not like I'm going to take it as gospel. You know what I'm saying? And that's, you know, I think that's the difference with a lot of us on here and some other people, you know what I'm saying? So he's qualified, but, you know, that doesn't make it gospel. You know what I'm saying? This is opinion, you know what I mean?
And Kill, I want to say something. I took this BS class years ago called handwriting analysis, right? It may not mean nothing.
Right.
But if you look at this report card, if you look at this shit, if you look at how this is written, the numbers are perfectly aligned for this report card. It's like they're not. No, look at this shit. Every number is like it's centered dead ass on each. Who writes like that? then you don't see that the handwriting lean if it's a right or left-handed person, because if he's right-handed, you'll see the letters lean to one side of it only leans on certain when he writing 10, or like you can see the categories that he did across first, and then he went and graded other niggas in between. If you look at Jay-Z, he was leaning. You look at Lauryn Hill, he leaned. You can see the lean of the numbers. You look at certain rappers he graded, you can see like the shit lean to the right a little bit, which means he's probably a right-handed guy, right?
Trey, you need a mayor on your legal team, man. You need a mayor.
Absolutely. So when I'm looking at this shit, I'm like, hold on, this shit is still. It's like somebody took a program, plopped in, and made a few mistakes on it to make it look like. But I don't even know if Kool Moe Dee even did this shit. Because
the misspellings are the kicker for me.
Yeah, and this man got a degree.
And
this man got a degree. He has a degree from Old Westbury. He graduated in 1985 with a degree in communication. Right. So clearly, this should be one of his strong suits. And I don't think that. I'm just looking at how this report card is done. If it's Photoshop, the joke's on us, because this shit is too. The hand. Look at each column. This shit is dead shit. Shit is crazy. Nobody writes like this. Nobody writes like that. Come on.
I got the book. I'm gonna find the book in here. I meant to find it for this discussion, but I definitely have the book.
JR, the R&B guru, what you got? Moe Dee qualified?
I do. I think he's qualified because, like y'all said, he had an impact and changed dudes to MCing. So I feel like he's qualified. You know, like some of these people on this list is fucked up, but I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it is what it is. But I mean, but he's qualified. I mean, but I'm like Forrest and Rel. I don't get that hype over somebody having a qualified list. Like anybody can do what they want to do. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna get hype from it. Like
I'm so stuck, but I'm gonna lean on Trey because Trey was there with the Treacherous 3. Because I almost feel like if y'all watch the NBA Jump, I'm always like, Richard Jefferson and Kendrick Perkins, y'all really wasn't shit in the league like that. But you talking about niggas. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, I like when Vince comes on because I'm like, okay, we got a dude who was a 4.5 mic player, you know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Moe Dee is dope.
Right. And I respect that from you. I think coming from me from when I saw Moe Dee. You know, when I saw Moe Dee with, you know, How You Like Me Now, which I love, but it was just like, I almost feel like it's Kendrick Perkins judging Kevin Durant, if that makes sense. You know, now, Trey, I understand what you're saying, because you're saying, no, Kill, he wasn't Kendrick Perkins. Like, trust me. So I'm with you. I'm trusting you. I just want people watching to not throw me under the bus because I said he's not qualified, because I'm looking at Moe Dee from, like I said, go see the doctor from like 84, 85 on. So that's why I said I appreciate you bringing in the Treacherous 3 and all of that, because
you doing all this.
Which
you doing all this and people still gonna be mad.
I mean, people still gonna be mad. I still want to explain it of where I'm coming from, because I don't know. Kill, Sherrod, will we ever have Morgan and Moe Dee's name ever come up in any fucking conversations about hip hop? And I mean, I get it. It's 92.
He was before our Morgan days, really. He was before our Morgan. But I mean, I listen.
Niggas would talk about LL. We would talk about PE. We would talk about Criminal Minded. I don't remember no conversations about the How You Like Me Now album.
Nah, actually, after the beef with L, we really kind of stopped rocking with Moe Dee. I mean, like that was like a changing of the guard, really.
Right.
From my perspective. I mean, so I mean, we rocked with Moe Dee from before that, and he had little glimpses here and there, but he was fizzling in terms of his buzz with mainstream hip hop. So really, that's where the shift happened, really. So we wasn't checking for him like that, but he was always highly regarded. It's just his era had kind of ended.
Right. It's kind of ironic that he got at Busy Bee for being outdated. Yep. And then when he went at L, he was the one that was severely outdated. You know what I'm saying? It just kind of, it was just a changing of the guard, like Sean said. And that is kind of ironic that it was him in both of those instances. You know what I'm saying? So
because I know the point where all those ADMCs had to realize it. Like Houdini had to realize it. You know, to an extent, Run DMC and them realized it. The Fat Boys, all those people we loved in the '80s in the beginning, in the mid 80s, by the time 88 with Kane and G-Rap and all of them came out, I remember that fourth Houdini album, Open Sesame, with them on a fucking magic carpet. I was like, yo, it's a wrap for these niggas. Like, yo, these niggas on a magic carpet right now on the album. So, you know what I mean? So that's a great point that he was fizzling out. All right, tell me this. What is the first thing that stood out to you? I know a lot of stuff is could be questionable about this list, but what was the first thing that when you saw this, you was just like, oh, fuck no. Like, what was the first thing that stood out for you? Porsche, what was the first thing that stood out for you?
The first thing that stood out for me is that he gave Puffy a B.
Oh, that was mine.
and not only did he give Puffy a B.
That should be everybody.
Listen, I listen, Puffy as a rapper in any of these categories is a C- at best, okay? Like, on a good day.
You're too generous. You're too
nice.
Exactly.
You don't belong on the list.
Not at all.
Right there.
Not at all.
Thank you.
And then he's only got, like, Puffy 4 marks below Nas. I mean,
Traumatizing, huh?
We gotta get into it more. We gotta get into it.
You know
more.
what?
So that's what stood out for you first. That's what stood out
for you.
Yeah, I did a skim of the names and I was like, oh fuck, he's got Puffy on there. And I was like, what goddamn grade did this guy give Puffy? So then I looked and I was like, a B. And then I'm like, he's got Big on there. Like, how do you have Big and Puff on a list? Never mind. Anyway, we'll get into it.
All right, that's the first thing that stood out for you. The first thing that stood out for me was Jay got an 82. And it's a B-. And I wasn't even thinking like this is fucked up. I was like, yo, those Jehovah's Witnesses is gonna get at Moe Dee because they gave his Lord and Savior at 82. That was the first thing that came to mind for me. With Moe Dee's about his timeline, if he's on social media, is about to be dead because he just gave Jay-Z an 82. Which is crazy for me because again, if this list came out in 97, 98, Jay's had Reasonable Doubt. I don't give a fuck what you say. After hearing Reasonable Doubt, you more than an 82 MC for me. There's still things I'm catching to this day on Reasonable Doubt. Nas, at this point, we've had Illmatic and It Was Written, but we're gonna get into all that later. JR, what about you? What stood out for you the craziest thing?
Portia said it. Having Puffy on this list, he shouldn't have been there nowhere near this list at all. So I don't know why that. I was like, yeah, this nigga tripping. I don't know what's up with him. Like, nah. So Puff being on here was where I paid attention to. I was like, I don't even want to look at the list no damn more, to be honest.
Trey, what about you? What stood out first? What's the first thing that caught your eye?
I mean, the first thing that honestly, like I said before, was that it rehashed itself after all these years. I'm like, where the hell did this come from? Like, but it's clearly, the Puff situation. Like, I mean, I said that back then. You know what I'm saying? I said that in '97. Matter of fact, the funny thing is that and Mo's my guy, man. I salute. That's the OG. So I ran into him at this joint. He was like, yo, Trey, I just wrote this book, you know what I'm saying, and you in it, you know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why I went and got it in the first place, you know what I'm saying? But, even back then when I picked it up, you know what I mean, I was like, it's a great read, by the way. Y'all should copy it because it's more than just this list, you know what I'm saying? But, I was like, yo, why is Puff on here in the first place? Like, he shouldn't even be in it at all for nothing.
Right.
Period.
All right, I got you. Brooklyn Kill, what stood out for you first?
The first thing that stood out for me, but with a twist, was Lauryn Hill. because I knew that once again I was going to be the minority defending Lauryn Hill, because because I believe that grade, that A+ that she got, is highly deserved, especially at that time, right?
Yeah.
But I knew that cats weren't going to be able to understand that this was back then, so they were going to take the whole, right? They were going to take a whole body of work and be like, nah, all she had was one album, D, she ain't coming to her shows, if at all, until 3 hours late, blah, 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 blah. They're not really going to understand. They're not really going to understand them Coppin State homecoming shows when the Fugees and Lauryn was killing it. They're not going to understand my heart skipping a beat when I left the homecoming show and Lauryn was outside in a cypher and me standing there like, nah, shorty about to kill everybody in this. So that's really what stood out to me, that I knew that a lot of people weren't gonna, you know what I'm saying, people were gonna look at that, you know, in that way.
Right. All right, no doubt. Ro, what about you? What stood out to you first?
Lauryn Hill stood out to me for the opposite reason.
See, here we go.
So, but not to the extent of what you might think. I think at the time this was probably written, she deserved to be an A. But my problem is she's an A, and there's some people that around this time were even on that level or better, and they got B minuses and C's. Like if Lauryn Hill's an A, and this at this time, and Nas put out Illmatic and it was written, and he's a B, 1 point over Mac 10. Come on, bro. Come on, that's crazy.
Not Mizzy Mac.
I feel like there's some bias going on. Maybe Moe Dee was trying to get with Lauryn. I don't know what was going on, but you can't have more. I'm not mad at the grade. It's just like you said, you get to the point where I'm not mad at this grade, but what does Lauryn had that you didn't hear from Nas with Illmatic, and it was written by now? You know, that almost has him at the bottom. If I'm not mistaken, I think Lauryn has the highest grade.
Yep.
Ever.
Yeah. Right.
She's the GOAT.
And again, maybe if there was more 90s up there, it wouldn't stand out. But this just looks like you just trying to get with L. You know what I mean? Like, yo, maybe if I give Shorty that super duper A+, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like if you playing 2K and you give, I don't know, you give fucking like James Harden a 98, but like Kevin Durant gets a 90. You be looking like, nigga, what? Like,
right.
So I feel you on that. Amir, what stood out on the list with you? The first thing that you saw?
I mean, it wasn't I'm my brain wired funny, bro. I looked at the mistakes and I looked at how this shit was aligned. I'm like, because I'm always questioning the validity of the shit. And I'm like, the great. I didn't really, honestly, the first thing I saw was like, when I looked at it, I'm like, why this shit so straight and like.
If you don't get this team, like, yes, and then, you know, I'm assess handwriting and everything, bro.
Yeah, I was an asshole, and I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, why do some of these numbers look like they're the same? Like this, I was looking at the A's to make sure that they wasn't written or to copy and paste it. Like by a program, like, because you know you could create your own fonts and just kind of use it randomly in these programs, and the errors, like the misspellings, like, and then to make it look legitimate. I feel like I personally feel like it was doctored. If I'm wrong, then you know whatever. But then the mistakes, like how do you misspell Keith Murray? Like come on, you misspell fucking
Mos Def.
You call him Method Man. Like I just don't think Moe Dee would have made those mistakes. You know, Method Man, or you know.
Yo, he called Buster like Buster Douglas. Like you spell Buster like Buster Douglas. I'm like, damn.
I don't. And my thing is, how can you rate? You talking about artists? You would know how to spell their name at least if you want to rate them.
I got to find my book.
Yeah. So I mean, I just don't think that he did the list. That's my, you know, I'm a report card conspiracy theorist, I guess, on the panel. I feel like this shit was doctored, and whoever doctored it wanted it, you know, for clickbait or just whatever, and he put it back out to say, fuck it, I'll say Kool Moe Dee did it.
All right, Sha, what about you? What stood out to you first, bro?
As I was scanning it, I wasn't diagnosed in the penmanship, but I am now, and it does look crazy. But as I was scanning it,
like Amir,
it's looking crazy.
Like,
The typovers, like we the so I'm gonna have to revisit that part. But the Lauryn Hill one caught me first because I scanned it from top to bottom, and I'm like, did he create her in a lab? I mean, I love Lauryn at that time, but she's perfect in every category. It's kind of like you said in 2K, like how you make like your own character. Because I know when I made Shot Boogie back in the days, Shot Boogie couldn't be stopped. I mean, he had the three, he had the dunks, he was nimble. He basically created her, and so that just stood out to me. And like, it just didn't. If it was just he was rating one person and this is just how he had it, great. But now you start talking about a comparative thing. I'm like, it's off. So that's why I was trying to avoid it until you sent it to us in the text. So I'm like, this ain't real. So that was it.
All right, Porsche, give me 3 things that's wrong with this list.
Puffy is wrong.
Number 1.
You like Puffy. Like,
yeah, so Puffy is wrong.
Sean Combs. Give all the aliases. Sean Combs, Diddy, and Puffy.
Yeah, Puffy being on the list is wrong. The grade is wrong. Every single number he has in these categories is completely wrong. So just everything to do with Puffy. Okay, that's not my number 1. Secondly, I can't understand how Jay-Z and Pun are only 2 marks above Puffy. This is like mind blowing.
Yeah, we're back. If you're gonna keep, you gotta give him a different name. Do Diddy now. Say something else.
I call Puff what Big called Puff, and when Big changes what he calls Puff, then I will too.
I feel you. I feel you.
And can someone explain to me who is below Nas and above Lauryn Hill?
Corrupt. Yeah, I was gonna say that, yo.
Corrupt. Like everything about Corrupt. I wish Kool Moe Dee would just stay far away from Corrupt. Like just leave Corrupt alone. That's my dude. Like don't go near Corrupt. His ranking is, I mean, I don't really agree with it. But please spell his name correctly. What is that? I thought it was Carrot. I was like, what is he doing? So yeah, that's my biggest things with him.
All right, with me, it's kind of like what everybody else already said. Jay being an 82, even if Reasonable Doubt just came out. I mean, from the 12-inch of In My Lifetime, then with the Big Jazz In My Lifetime remix with Reasonable Doubt, everything that Jay was on, going toe-to-toe with Big on Brooklyn's Finest. I just don't see. I knew Jay was gonna be dope. I knew he was gonna be one of the next big people. So to give him an 82 in 97, 98 is crazy. Same thing with Nas. Nas is an 84. Pun is an 82. But I think the thing that really stood out to me was Mystical's a 90. Like,
and
I'm
like,
Mystical
points below Pac. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, so it was like, yo, Mystical's a 90, but Nas, who is giving you I Gave You Power, is an 84. Like, that's just mind blowing to me. But now I'm with Amir because I'm like, yo, did he do this? Because I'm like, yo, he has so many names spelled wrong. He has most deaf. I mean, so
most deaf.
Right, not most. He has most, like most. ST. So I'm with Amir now. JR, what stood out? What are the 3 big things that's wrong with this list for you?
Mine was definitely Puff off the break. Then my next one was when I saw Kim and Foxy at the same thing as Jay and Nas and all that. I was like, wait a minute.
When Jay wrote for Kim and Foxy. Like,
right. That's why I was like, how were they damn near?
Yo, he got Kim at 83.
Right. He got Jay at 82.
I just realized that. Yo, that's crazy. How can you have somebody who wrote for somebody higher than the person who's writing for him? But neither here nor there. I'm sorry.
And then the Mystical thing. When I saw Mystical had higher than Nas and Jay, I was like, okay, we got a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And I was like, something is wrong with this. I was like, and that's when I started looking at, the penmanship and all that. Like, this ain't real, yo. Like, after I started looking at this, I was like, this is not real. Because I'm like Amir, like, some of these joints are just too straight. And then when you look at the names, the way he wrote it, but then you look at the grades, it's completely different. So it gets you to start looking at stuff. So yeah, I started saying, wait a minute. When you said this, I was like, this shit ain't real, yo. This is Photoshop for real.
Trey, what you got, good brother? What are the 3 things that's wrong with this list?
Oh, the misspellings. First of all, the misspellings are ridiculous. That's why I gotta find that book.
But he spelled Lauren's name right. He spelled Lauren right.
My whole line is perfect.
He spelled her name right. He made sure that he spelled that name right.
I mean, the misspellings, of course, Puff. That's all the way wrong. That's the wrongest thing in here, in the whole joint. Like that's just wrong. Period. Like,
Loud and Trey.
Yeah, it's just that is just wrong. And I think somebody pointed it out, man. You know, all due respect, but Mac 10, come on, man. Come on, man. I mean, I know that's everybody's it's subjective, you know what I'm saying? But nah. He got the same score as it. Well, he got a grade. He got a score. He's 1 point above Jay. Yeah. But I hope we get into right. I hope we get into how you got to the total. You see what I'm saying? Like with these categories, with the categories, like because if you break it down, I haven't in a long time. But if we break down each category, maybe some of them make sense, maybe some of them don't. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, those are the three things.
All right, Kill. What about you?
MC Shan, and MC Shan. MC Shan is trash and shouldn't have anything above a D.
Is on here?
Oh, he's on the old
MC Shan is
list.
on the.
Oh, he's on the old list. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
List.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I would say Puff, but that's already Puff Diddy Love has already been buried. He's already been buried, and we talked about the spellings. So for me, the thing that's left is MC Shan. I just don't. I mean, I can't, man. I just can't, yo. I just don't understand. And it's not, I mean, I'm 48. So it's not like I didn't listen to old, you know what I'm saying? Like sometimes when I speak to someone and I say, nah, Shan, I don't get it. They say, well, okay, well, maybe that's not your era. And I'll be like, yo, I'm, whatever age at that time, it's appropriate for me. And I know it's tough to be in a room. You got Kool G Rap in the room with you, you know what I'm saying? You got Kane. So, but I'm not even putting him up against, the brothers that was and sisters, and Shantae that was in the room with him. I'm just looking at him like I just don't. I just never. I just don't. The voice, the lyrics. Like, I just don't.
It's like
I can't. I just don't understand. Like, did he know somebody? No, for real. Somebody on this panel has to be able to help me out. Did he know people? Like, was he the plug? And then it was like, all right, Shan got to be in this group, or Shan got to be part of this.
I'll say this about Shan, like, he's probably an acquired taste to some people, you know what I'm saying? So, like, the way you feel about him, I could understand it, you know what I'm saying? But he's kind of, his trajectory kind of reminds me of Kool Moe Dee a little bit. Like, he got washed by BDP, and when he was in that battle, he sounded very outdated, and the people in his group kind of left him behind. But it was a time when, not me per se, but it was a time when people.
Be careful, bro. Be careful.
There was a time.
What you about to say?
There was a time when people really liked Shan. There was a time when people liked Shan.
I'm not gonna say I was never a Shan fan.
Nah.
Like, the bridge was dope.
He made a good record or two. He made a good record or two.
And I'm not gonna hold y'all. The second Shan album that nobody was checking for because he had already lost to BDP was actually a good record. I give it a 3 solid mic.
But Shan was never considered. Shan was never in his career considered the best.
Oh no!
So don't make that comparison.
No.
Moe Dee was never considered the best to me.
Oh yeah, he was. He was a part of the Holy Trinity.
No. But
yeah,
Trey,
him, Kaz, and Mel. Kaz, and Mel were considered the best.
Right,
but
they
were
the best. But Trey,
I can't argue because I was.
Well, listen, I want to say something, and we damn they could change subjects after this. This is gonna be broken forever after this. I hope it go viral for some people. But listen, I'm doing a comparable. I'm doing my research, man.
like, look, I found Moe Dee.
Honestly, we ain't even got to talk about this shit no more. Because I'm going to tell you why. This report card was not written by Kool Moe Dee, and I have enough substantial evidence to the right from 1988 rap report card. You can pull the shit up. The way the A's were written, the way the S's were written, Rakim name was spelled wrong, but I can see how you could do that, right? Look at the A's, look at the way that the 8s were written. Yeah, the 8s in 88 were written with two circles on top of each other. The 8s on this report card was written like in one stroke of the pen, right? If you're looking at the fucking the penmanship, the P's and the F's, and the way this shit is written, bro, this is not written by the B's. When he wrote the letter D and the letter D on 88 on the Jay-Z, he wouldn't even spell it. He never wrote all caps with anybody's name. Like, why would he do a J then an A all caps? He didn't do that anywhere else.
Oh,
so this
hey,
yo, I'm looking at it now.
Come on, man. Let's look at your kill with the same topic. I cracked the code. Listen,
if you don't hire listen tonight, Trey.
Listen,
come
man,
on,
let's change it. We good. This is not written by the same nigga.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I make sense. Here's the thing that I make sense. Because Amir, you made a great point that if this was written by somebody and he just gave them the numbers to put in, you know what I mean? But I'm with you. I mean, I didn't look at it like that.
If I find that book, if I find that book, because that'll solve all of this. Because both of the report cards are in the book. I just can't remember if this one looks the same as the one that's in the book. But both of these report cards,
I could find it. What's the name of the book, bro? I'll find it.
Gonna find it, bro.
There's a God. What is it called? There's a
God on the mic.
There's a God on the mic.
But even if I don't think anybody would go through the trouble of when this was written 6 years ago. Somebody put this report card up about the 1988 one, bro.
Yeah, because the 88 one was in the album. The 88 one was in one of the albums. And then what he did was he did a side-by-side comparison of when he put the book out and grading the now MCs of when it was back then. But again, I can't remember, unless the book is in front of me, whether or not the penmanship is still the same as the one that we have right now. You know what I'm saying?
I'm looking at it right now. You can go to Reddit. I can send you the link, man. Your email, I send it to you right now. So on Reddit.com.
You found the book? You found the book?
I can spin my camera around and show you what's going on.
Yeah. I want to see. Yeah, you found the book?
You know, let me see if I can spin this shit around.
Yeah. If you found the book, then we good money.
Real time.
Let me see. Hold on. You see this report card? Look right here. See this?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
That's the one I'm looking at.
Right now, look at this right beside it. These letters are not it, bro. This nigga didn't write this shit. This is not the same person.
No. I believe you. I'm saying, is that the transcript from the book? This is from 1988. This is from the book. I'm assuming. I'm almost positive because I definitely we can do.
So, hey Trey. So both report cards are in the book.
Both report cards are in the book. I just can't remember if the misspelling, like the thing that Amir is finding, like because we all got this from the internet. You see what I'm saying? So from what Amir is finding now could actually be different than what's actually in that book. You know what I'm saying? As far as the misspellings and all the other stuff. That's why I wish because I have the book. It's just packed up in one of these boxes. You know what I'm saying?
I can say this. I remember the joint from the book, and the grades were fucked up then too. I can't.
Exactly.
That same fuck.
Really? Okay.
But I remember it being like, "Get the fuck out of here." It wasn't
it was
like right. That's why when this came back up, I'm like, "Why are we bringing this back up? We done done."
Why are we bringing it back up? And people was mad at him back then.
Right. Exactly. But just to keep the show going.
No. This is it. I found it.
Yeah, they said what's in the sleeve of the second of the.
This is the one that I showed you. The one that I showed you to the right was in the book.
Yeah.
So what are those grades? Are the grades still the same, Amir?
This is old school, and this one.
Yeah. So the old school one is This is the one from the book. I found it, but I don't have the one for this new report card. I can't speak to I can't speak to the validity of it right now. I got to do a little bit more digging.
So you haven't found the new one yet? You haven't found the new one?
Okay. Nah, the new shit I ain't find, but I know for a fact we can definitely say that 1988 joint. But the thing about it is this: if we know the 1988 one is official, I don't think his penmanship would change this drastically in that amount of time. Not unless he having some medical issues that we don't know about, but but if you look at this shit, it's not written by the same person.
I wish
it's really not.
I feel you. I feel you. Fuck, I don't even remember who. I think we left with Kill because we was trying to talk about MC Shan. I don't think Shan was ever ill. I just think at that time Shan was probably the dopest, maybe out of Queensbridge at that time, because Marley, you know, is Queensbridge. Shantae is what, 83, 84, Roxanne's Revenge. Shan had to come kind of right around then. So to me, if you're in the Queensbridge projects, from what I hear, is the biggest housing projects in the world, and if Marley is fucking with you, I would probably assume Shan was probably, if not the nicest, one of the nicest people in Queensbridge at that time. Now keep in mind, if we're only talking 85 to 87 before BDP came out with The Bridge Is Over, Shan really only had a 2-year reign. And not even really a reign.
Not even a reign.
Yeah.
But
Change
not
that,
a reign, but just that he was only relevant.
But he didn't have to be nice though. He didn't have to be dope or nice, because at that time Park Jams was the thing, right? So if he could rock the mic, kind of control the crowd, that would give him a buzz right there. He could have been just as terrible as you think he is, but he may not have had, you know, the skills, because he never really showed that to me.
And the thing is, that's a great point with Park Jams, because just because you're a great Park Jam MC doesn't mean that translates well to becoming a good MC making records. You know, you could be the ill player at Rucker Park and can't do shit in college. So this could, you know, so that's a great point, Shine. You know,
Felipe Lopez.
Felipe Lopez. Yeah, that's the name I ain't heard in years. Dope 30 for 30 on Felipe, by the way. But yeah, so just to say, I think that was the thing that obviously either he's related to Marley or he was one of the nicest niggas in Queensbridge for Marley to fuck with. I would think that. But then by the time Kane, G-Rap, Craig G, Master Ace, and the rest of them came, it was over. You know,
made him sound elementary, man. Made him sound elementary.
And again, the craziest story to me is how they say on the cover of this joint, which is in Marley's joint, when they shot the album cover, they said, yo, we was going back to the crib to make the symphony, and Shan said, okay, I'll meet y'all there, and he never showed up because he felt like, yo, I'm bigger than the rest of these nobodies you about to put on the album.
You know what I mean? He'd have got washed on that joint though.
Right. Absolutely. And that's how Master Ace took. It was supposedly Shan, Craig G, Kane, and G-Rap. So when he didn't show up, they threw Ace on it. So
there is a God.
There is a God.
God is real.
Yeah. He said the guy is so good.
All the time.
And Ace killed that joint.
He did.
He said all the time. What happens if Freddie Fox shows up and Eric B takes Freddie Fox to Marley's house? Because he only took Rakim because Freddie Fox didn't show up.
Really?
Yeah. So if Freddie Fox shows up, Eric B doesn't take Rakim to Marley's house. Wow. He only took Freddie Fox as a backup. I mean, he took Rakim as the backup boy.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Fox is nice. Fox is nice.
Fox is nice, but he ain't Rakim.
Yeah, but he ain't Rakim.
He ain't Rakim. Freddie Fox ain't making nobody's top 50 list, to be honest. We keeping it a buck. You know what I mean? So, Ralph, what stood out for you? What are 3 things that was wrong for you?
Well, man, so with some of the guys, Jay-Z or Nas, they had like, their careers wasn't always like this, right? They had like highs, some lows where the product, the album might not have, especially like the album wasn't that good, stuff like that. At this time right here, they were like here, like especially like Nas, you had Illmatic, it was written, so he's here. Like, how can it be these type of scores at this point in his career? You feel what I'm saying? Like there was a time in Nas' career where he put out a couple of albums that critically were not up to par, and you can would affect his score negatively. But at this point, how do you get that type of score for Jay-Z and Nas at this point in their career? You know what I'm saying? Another thing,
in my Lifetime Volume 1, you giving him,
I mean,
he's up there.
Here's my thing. He had Reasonable Doubt. I liked In My Lifetime Volume 1
Me
minus
too.
like 4 songs.
I'll say this: that album was a half and half album. Now, half that album was for the radio, but the songs that were on, Imaginary Players, Streets is Watching, Friend of Folk Part 2, Where I'm From. There's some bangers on there, but then there's some whackness on there. But again, I can't grade Jay-Z no 80, 82, even after Reasonable Doubt. Dog, if you drop Reasonable Doubt, you starting at a 90, in my opinion. Because he's done everything he did. He checked every box on Reasonable Doubt for me. You know what I mean?
And so
I can't wait till we get into the. Go ahead.
Okay. So here's a thing, and for the MCs, some of the things, the more you have MCs that are incredibly lyrical, but some of the other things they lack, and that kind of balances them out when you rate them in comparison to other MCs. You have like a Raz Cash, Cannabis. You know what I'm saying? Certain things that they do well and certain things that they don't do well. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this list doesn't reflect that to me. You feel what I'm saying? Like, Cannabis, you could say, is very lyrical, right? But does he make good songs? You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that. So when I saw this, it didn't balance out for me as far as like the skill set of a total MC. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's not just I can rap. You know what I'm saying? And that's one thing. And I was going to ask Trey, Amir, like, if they agree with that. Like, that's one of the things that kind of stood out. It's like the balance of what makes a person a well-rounded MC. MCs have their strengths and weaknesses, and I don't think this list reflected that when I saw it. And for instance, Method Man, right, who is a 91, right, and I love Method Man, right, but let's be honest about a couple of things with Method Man. Those albums.
Method Man in '97 now.
Okay,
right.
what was out? Cal 1 and Cal 2, which
they weren't good. They weren't
greatest
good
albums in the world.
Right. Okay. So go ahead.
Right. So, but the thing that's missing is impact. That's impact needs to be weighed on here because
you know what, bro? Hold that for a second. We're gonna come back around with the joint. So I want you to hold the impact joint for that.
Okay.
Shy, what is wrong? What are 3 things that was wrong with this list for you?
I'm gonna go with the Puffy thing, but not Puffy alone. The fact that Puffy scored higher than Mace is crazy. I mean, Puffy doesn't belong on here, but how does he score higher than Mace? I just don't get it. I mean, I don't care what you rate Mace. You can't rate Puff below Mace in terms of a MC a report card. It just doesn't work.
Wow.
Big being scored a 9 for stage presence. I thought that was interesting. I love Big. I'm Big fan, but 9 for stage presence. So then it made me look at like the ratings for individual things. And I know Trey said he wants to get into that later. I feel like the inconsistency with the scoring is just it's kind of like the final score. They knew what they wanted to give people, and they just backtracked it into stuff. Like, okay, you can pretty much group the people and be like, yo, these people are going to be in my top tier. This is my middle tier. This is the bottom. And then let's fill in the numbers that's going to make it work. Because the inconsistency with the individual ratings is just crazy to me.
That's a dope point.
Yeah, so I would say it's the inconsistency, and then like just like the relativity of it. You try to compare, it's kind of like it don't work. Like if it's individual folks or maybe a smaller set, you can kind of compare them. You look at the big group, it's just like it doesn't, like these dots ain't connected for me. So the math ain't mathing. So.
I feel you. Amir, I know there's a lot wrong with this.
Them B's, right? Them B's is off.
Right, like, them B's and them 8s. 8s and B's, yo.
What did you find off about this list? What will be your top 3 things?
Authenticity, man.
I got you.
Listen, I'm not even gonna waste my time even grading this shit at this point because I know from what my research has shown, I'm gonna be the fact checker here. This is not the same person, bro. That's what my answers is gonna be the whole night. Every time you answer, this is not the same person, bro. Let's just be clear.
It ain't him. It ain't him.
It ain't him. It ain't him. No, I'm looking at the P's. I'm looking at the B's from '88. I'm looking at.
If you was in my pop, I would have got married with my whole life. Cause I stayed.
I want y'all to do. I want you, and I want the audience to do me a favor. Look at the penmanship and the way the letter B was written in '88, and the way it was written after. Look at the way.
That B is way off. Oh yeah.
The B is off, right? I want the audience to really pay attention to the letter, the number 8 in this joint, bro. It was 2 circles. I write my 8s like that. I know what it feels like. I know what that feels like. What I also want them to watch the whole time he wrote in '88, he never put 2 capital letters back to back. These things are triggers. The mind writes the same way for years, bro. Look at this shit. He got J capital, A capital. That's automatically a flag to me. I'm looking at, the way he wrote Master P in all caps. He didn't write in all caps one time in '88 with anybody's name, right? That was never a thing. The P's on here are dragged out in the inside. Listen, I'm here to be the investigator. This is my role tonight. Kill, listen.
I got you, bro. I'm down. I'm laughing
every time you ask me,
because you right.
Every time you ask me, I'm gonna be like, look, man, this shit is cannabis name. He didn't write. Look at every A he wrote in '88. It's the back of it was written once, the outside arch, and then he went in the inside. Bloop. That's 2 strokes. The A here is 3. Bong bong, and then he went across. That's nasty. I can see nasty work here. I know that this is not my man. This is not my if you analyze the letter.
Is it possible that this could have been told over the phone and someone transcribed
I thought about that too, but we're not gonna play that game.
Why? You have to because Moe Dee. Listen, Moe Dee. Read you have the computer up. Read what Moe Dee wrote said in the interview with Rock the Bells about this. He didn't say, hey, this wasn't me. What the hell are you guys getting mad at me about? This wasn't my list. He said this is why it was ranked this way. So to me, that sounds like Moe Dee's taking responsibility for what is in there.
No, he definitely did the report card
over the phone.
He definitely did the report card.
But that's a great point, Porsche, that Moe Dee has said, this is me.
So he did the Jay-Z this list.
Well, I don't know if he wrote it. I don't know if he wrote it,
but he definitely did the grading. He definitely
with this list being out now and everybody talking about, like Porsche said, Rock the Bells just interviewed Moe Dee and he was like, yeah, that's me. Or like he said, this is why. So that would have been
so listen, safe to say, great. And of course I thought about that beginning. I was gonna, divulge that in the beginning of my case, but I didn't say it in the beginning. That was definitely a thought that raced across my mind. Was did somebody else write this over the phone?
I just want Tracy Lee to note that I should be on council and not Amir. That's all I'm saying.
You need them both.
Analytical. The way you guys analyze it is beautiful. The way you guys analyze it is beautiful. And like I said, I talked to Mo when he first put it out. This is he definitely graded this. This is not like Porsche said, he didn't backtrack from it when he got the interview. Now, again, like you said, it may not have been his handwriting, you know what I'm saying? But these are his grades at that time.
Because I'm thinking Buster instead of Busta. I could see someone on the phone being like, wait, what do you say? Busta? What? Busta? Okay, I'll write down Buster. That's what it sounds like.
Could have been the editor, you know what I'm saying?
Especially these new editors anyway that don't know hip hop anyway that's writing it.
Right. Let me tell you something.
If you put my name on some bullshit, best believe I'm be like, that shit ain't me. Quick, fast, in a hurry. If you put my name on any type of bullshit that looks like this, I'm be like, nah, that ain't me. I ain't do that. So Moe Dee ain't up to it.
So it's safe to say this, and if we're looking at it, he didn't write this. But he said it. So it's safe to say the fact checking portion is he didn't write the second report card. But if he's saying he didn't run away from the grade, clearly somebody transcribed it for him. I see it, Porsche. I see it. I see it.
It's on Rock the Bells' IG if you guys want to, and it's on the link in their bio. But I can link it to you guys if you want.
All right. So, Amir, was there anything? Now that we've got that done, is there anything like what were the 3 things that you saw as far as the grades?
Love it.
The grades was nasty, man. Like, the whole shit was nasty. To me, it was nasty. I feel like the grades, if I'm over the phone and I'm doing an interview with this shit and I'm rushing, the grades don't even, first of all, is this graded on a curve? I mean, what are we doing here? I'm going to ask you this shit. Yeah, it's definitely on the curve here because this shit is not, and by whose standard, I mean, what curriculum? Like, I mean, what basis are we using here? Like, whose school system? I'm just saying this shit didn't make sense to me. That's all I'm saying.
We public school, we charter school. What we doing?
Yeah, this is Montessori. This is Montessori.
This is definitely Montessori.
You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? Catholic school? What? Like, this shit just don't make sense to me. Like, I mean, honestly, bro, I'm gonna keep it a buck. You gave Mace, niggas can front on Mace though, but I'm gonna keep it a buck. Mace should have got more than a C+ because Mace was impactful. Somebody talked about impact to the culture. People forget when he was Murder Mace on them tapes, bro. He was doing shit was real different in New York. It was real different in the New York street. He had
hold on for 1 second. And I'm just saying this because should we grade Murder Mace or Mace? Like for instance,
this was Murder Mace though.
No,
that
this
was
is
Murder Mace era. No, but that was Murder Mace on the tapes when he got graded at this time. If you put him back here,
this is Bad Boy Mace.
This is 97, 98, right?
It's all of it.
Listen,
but it's all of it.
Trey, back me up. During that pup,
it's all of it.
During that time when Mace was on Bad Boy, yeah, that commercial shit was one thing, but them Rated R mixtapes when you had to go to Harlem to go grab the shit, you got to go to Jerome Avenue in the Bronx. He was Murder Mace on the mixtapes to us. All of that glittery shit was the other niggas. Mace is Murder Mace.
But he's graded, but Moe Dee is grading on what he's heard up to this point.
That's a fact, right?
Mace and Bad Boy.
I'm gonna say this. I thought he was basing this off of Bad Boy Mace.
No, he's basing on the collective body of work what he's heard up to that point.
Okay.
That's nasty to me. I didn't think, and I damn sure didn't think Mystical at the time. And no disrespect, man, he got jammed up around this time. This is bad business. I would have never gave somebody in Mystical's, shit, I don't even know but 2 records. He never spit no mixtape bars. I can't name a Mystical freestyle that made me be like, damn, he nice. He's a rapper. He's not a. So you got rappers on here, then you got MCs, and that's where the confusion comes into play. Then you got entertainers on this list. You got fucking figures on here. Some of these niggas do not just be. You can Black Thought will smoke a lot of these niggas on this list. That is just true and natural fact. In certain arenas, you try to tell Black Thought to make a Mace record, it's probably not gonna happen.
Right.
Right. But if you're talking about skill set wise, Puffy would never make the list
at all.
That's
right. At all, right?
It's even worse,
right? Mystical would not be on the list for skill set, right? Master P, he's a hustler, but he shouldn't even be on this shit.
He's the second one. He's the second one. At all.
I agree.
At all, right? So you have
on here at all.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he didn't make an impact for us. Master P was out the trunk with us, so his legend didn't start necessarily with his raps. It started because we fell in love with how his story.
Yep.
Right.
See, niggas gotta realize that when you fall in love with an artist, you fall in love with his story or his skill set. Some people you fall in love with both. But some of these niggas their story was crazy, but their verses wasn't. Tretch is actually dead nice. That grade is official, but keep it a buck. Tretch had a lot of joints that was anthem game was crazy. Nobody on this shit made more anthems than Tretch.
Tretch had smashed and he influenced the entire culture for a couple of years.
Well, you know what? Man?
I think it was a year when he might have been the best nigga out.
Yeah, there was a time when Tretch was nasty. But you know what, man? This is perfect because there's a great segue into what did he get right on this report.
Yeah, let's go with this.
So, Porsche, what did he get right on this report of her? Give me 3 things that he got right.
I'm not mad at the ranking and letter grade for Biggie and Pac the way that it is. I'm not mad at it. I think I would have liked to squeeze one more point in for Pac, but I'm not mad at it for sure. I think they that's good for me. I like the categories, to be honest. I know we're gonna get into that, but I do like that there's a breakdown of more than just 5 categories or 3 categories. Like I think that makes it a little bit easier to conceptualize or digest in a way, for people who, or for him to explain it even, and for us to understand it. And I think, and actually I love that, I like that Lauryn Hill's on there. I'm not like good with the score that she got, personally, but I really like that Lauryn Hill's on there. And that she ranked high. I'll say that.
All right. I'm not mad at Tretch, because like Rel and Trey were saying, there was a time when, to me, Tretch and Pooh Bah was probably 2 of the nicest MCs walking the planet Earth at a specific time. May have just been for a year, but here's the thing. It's like, if you used to watch wrestling like I did, fuck it. If Ric Flair held the belt for a year, nigga, you was world champion for a year. You know what I mean? And Tretch, 92, maybe 93-ish, 91, 92-ish. You know, from that first Naughty album, because people think that shit was all radio. You got Yoke the Joker, you got a whole bunch of, you got, what was the joint, Uptown Anthem from the Juice soundtrack? Like, you got that Tretch. So I'm not mad at Tretch. I'm not mad at the big 95. And I'm not mad at the Thought 87. I'm not mad at that. I know a lot of people would be, but we all know how I feel about Thought, so I'm not mad at those 3 joints. JR, what do you like? What did he get right?
I said Tretch, Big, and the list. I didn't mind the list. Like, the only thing I'm missing on there is just the impact. That's it. But
you mean the categories?
Yeah, the categories. I'm sorry.
Okay,
the categories. I didn't mind the categories. The categories was alright to me, to be honest with you. But Tretch and Big was right for me. You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, he got that right. He got that.
And
right.
I will say this about Moe Dee. I want to give him credit for this, for taking the time to do this, because even when we do things like this on the show, it's like, yo, what's your top 5 attributes of an MC? Whenever I'm chopping it up with people be like, oh, this person's the dopest. Well, why? And then they can't explain the shit. You know what I mean? So I will give Moe Dee props, because we'll get into the categories. These are a lot of fucking categories. I stopped at 5. Like at 47, anything over 5 for me, you want me to start rating people? It must be a bag in it for me somewhere, because that's too much goddamn thinking. I'm gonna give you 5 and keep it moving. So I do want to applaud Moe Dee for taking the time to really go in depth and break down everything as it is. Kill, what do you have? What are 3 things that Moe Dee got right with this list?
I thought, like I said earlier, for the time frame, I thought you got Lauryn Hill right. I thought, and I can't remember the other one I was thinking about, because my mind actually got consumed with, he got Kaz right. Kaz was nice, yo. Oh yeah, yeah. And as a matter of fact, Kaz to me got the best verse on the I can't remember, was it 50 deep or 200 deep, whichever one it was, the first that Case Slay did. One of the recent joints. I think it's 50 rolling 50 deep, I think. Whichever one was the first one. When Kaz is like, I'm the alpha and the omega, and I'm the da. And Kaz, so I definitely agree with that one. Other than that, I mean, I don't, in terms of getting right, yeah, those are the 2 that really stood out to me.
All right, what about you,
third wise on?
I think he got I think the DMX was right.
Okay.
I think the Redman was right.
That's shocking, Sean, because I know you fuck with X, so I thought you would have wanted X a little bit into the 90s.
So no, but see, so I looked at it as that's a reasonable score. I'm not even looking at them relative to each other anymore. Like I just looked at the categories and said, you know, I could see it.
I'm not mad.
You try to compare them is dumb. So I'm not mad at that one. I'm not mad at the Redman one, and the Tretch and Buster ones. I'm cool with them. So I kind of put them together because they were side by side. I was just looking through, like, individually looking at them, like, yeah, those work.
I was shocked that Keith and Red both got the same grades. Because I personally think Redman is much better than Keith Murray, but neither here nor there. Trey, what did Kool Moe Dee get right?
I think he got the categories right. Definitely, that's like my number one. That's the one that jumped out at me because I like the breakdowns. Like, this is how I listen to MCs. Exactly like he laid it out: vocabulary, articulation, creativity, originality, versatility, voice, records, stage presence. You know what I'm saying? Sticking to the topic. Innovative, you know what I'm saying? Innovative rhythm. See, that's the one. Innovative rhythms.
This is why you have a law degree, because I was like, what the fuck is innovative rhythms?
That's the bounce. That's your bounce.
Okay. Well, see, I need like you to give me, maybe if you would have put the fucking bounce instead of innovative rhythms.
Yeah. How you sitting in the
rhythm?
How you sitting in the pocket? How you bouncing off of each beat? You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you switch it up? You know what I mean? Like that was dope to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody that got 90s to me and above at that time, to me, deserved it.
Mystical?
Even mystical. Even mystical.
You this is saying this to me.
Even mystical. Based on the breakdowns of the vocabulary, articulation, creativity, originality, versatility, voice, records, stage presence, strictly based off of these breakdowns.
Point system, okay.
Straight off of the point system. If I'm looking at the point system, I'm looking at the MCs that got the highest score based on the point system, then I think everybody that got 90s deserves it.
Let me ask a question. You know I got to push back.
Yes.
Have you heard an entire Mystical album?
Absolutely. I'm the wrong one to ask. I've
never heard a Mystical album. So intelligently, I can't speak on this because all I've heard was Mystical is watched that at or
no, before he got with Pete, before he even got with Pete, before he shake that ass, shake that.
Right, I'm just trying to make sure, okay.
And that was like 7 years later. I remember when they showed a video on I forgot the video music channel we used to get, because we used to have illegal cable, so we used to get this one of them video shows or whatever. But I remember this boy coming on here with the New Orleans accent. See, I used to live in New Orleans, so it came out at. But then he had this characterism with him that reminded me of Busta. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, who is and the intricate flows that he was using and the voice that he had, I was like, yo, who is this dude? This is before he got with Pete. He had to snatch him up off his label when he was on Job. You know what I'm saying? And Job had him sitting.
Again, I didn't know anything about Mystical before Master P. So
yeah, so when I heard him, but the first time I was like, yo, this nigga's different. And he's killing it. And from where he was from, it was like this dude got the potential, but then Job sat on him. Never heard from him until people scooped him up and then changed his career and all that. So you're
rating Mystical based off of the Job years, not the Master P years.
I'm rating it off of to the point that I basically up to the point that he did this report card and what I had heard and based on the categories.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
All right.
So everybody that got 90s to me deserved them at this particular time on this report card. So that to me, he got that right. And then the one thing he got wrong, though, going back was there was no more than Lauryn Hill. There was no other women on here. There should have been some other grades for Light, for Latifah, for, you know what I'm saying? Like the only woman he graded was Lauryn Hill.
But it seemed like
he got Fox and Kim on there.
He got Fox and Kim on
there. Oh, yeah, Fox. Okay, my bad. Beside Fox and Kim, then.
But I think this looks like it was from 90 on.
Okay, got it.
He skipped the era.
That's just my
assumption. Let's take that out. No, you're right. So let's take that out. But those are the things I think he got right.
All right, Amir, what do you think he got right? What are 3 people he got right grade wise?
This is not real.
This is not real, but I'm a grade. In my opinion, skill set wise, and we basing it on like the point system, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Keith Murray, he might have got correct.
Okay.
right? I mean, we talking about not graded on the curve and just straightforward. I would agree with Keith Murray's grade. It's a lot of 9s on there. He got 2 8s. He got an 8 on records, which or not. What did he get? He got whatever.
He get a lot of 9s.
He got a lot of 9s on there, right? He gave him an 8 on records, but okay, I could deal with that. But 10 on vocabulary, right? But I still think Keith Murray should have got a 10 on articulation, because vocabulary and articulation kind of like go hand in hand. So I think they're like synonymous with each other, if that's the proper word, which I'm sure it is. But I think he got him right. I don't think, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't. The Biggie shit, he got right, and I'll just leave it at that. But I see he struggled with giving him, like, the correction, making me wonder why was he struggling with originality and versatility when he did grade him. And Tretch, I think Tretch's grade was correct.
All right. The part Trey's been waiting to get to, the categories. What did y'all think about these categories?
You ain't asked me.
Oh, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. Everybody's out of order. I apologize, bro. Bro, what did he get right?
I think he got Big score. Big should be in the 90s. I don't think he got it right, but the way he got it was kind of off. I think he should have got 10s in a couple of areas where he got 9s, and then a 9 or 8 was in at the time, like stage prep, the way he got to the right number for Big, to me, for Big should be in the 90s, but the way he got it, I didn't agree with.
I'm like that with Pac. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I like that you brought that up, bro.
And I think I'm happy that Tretch got the score that he got, because I feel like in some circles he's overlooked, and like I said, it was a time when he was probably the baddest dude walking the planet. So yeah, and then I like Redman getting. I'm not mad at Redman's score, but I think it should have been more than Keith Murray's. But I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Redman getting an 89, especially at this time. What was out from Redman at this time?
Muddy Waters, right?
You already got There's a Dark Side. You got What? And I want to say you may be teetering on Muddy Waters.
Oh, so so he might be a 90 at this point. At that time,
I agree with that. He got that wrong with me. That's the one he got wrong.
So that's what I think.
Yeah, man.
All right, agree. No doubt. So now we got the categories. Trey, I'm intrigued with Trey and Amir, because you guys being MCs, you know, which you think is important. Porsche, what did you think of the categories? And are any of these your top 5 categories that you want from an MC that you mess with?
I like these categories. I like them for how he's sort of, again, like I said, it allows us to understand with like the train of thought a little bit better. But I think that there's some very obvious ones that were missed, like impact, like just plain and simple, like impact of the person, impact of the records, like just impact in some way should have been on there for sure. And I think, like, I don't know, some of them I don't really understand, like voice, like what does that mean? Is that cadence? Like what does that mean, voice, to me? So I like that, but go ahead, Trey.
Yeah.
No. I was gonna at least my interpretation of voice is just how it really sounds, and it's subjective. But there's certain voices, like at least for me, you could be saying the illest shit.
Yeah.
If your voice don't sound right to me sonically, I can't even get to it.
But
I can't get.
Is that like tone? Does that fall under cadence?
Yes.
All of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So put it like this, Porsche. When somebody's voice is embedded in someone else's, like, well, it's in some form, surrounded by production or soundscape. If I'm hearing Trey's voice, I know for a fact I don't need to ask who is that. That's what a voice means. You don't have to. It's distinct. it stands out. Method Man's voice on this shit was absolutely a great grade because his voice is so distinct, right? You don't want to mix. You know when you hear Nas, you know when you hear Common, right? You know when you hear Biggie and Pac. Everybody on his voice to keep it up to buck. If you're a rapper and you got a deal and you at this stage in the game, your voice should have automatically been a 10 in my opinion because you were able to stand out from thousands of other artists. That's and also if voice is the last instrument on the record. So you also, if you're talking about usage of it and etc., then it can get a little sticky. But we talking about distinction. Every artist up here,
and if you notice, nobody got below an 8.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To your point, Amir,
yeah,
nobody
facts.
got below an 8.
I think,
and I think, I think for me it was all different. So when you're saying cadence, I almost think that's another category. Like I know for me, when I hear voice,
that's sure. I agree with that. I'm not mad at that. For me, something like innovating rhythms isn't like, I understand it, but it's not important to me. I don't think that should be something that qualifies an MC. In this regard, I think something like reach would be better. Like I would put something like reach, like how far can you go beyond the genre or beyond your, influence, impact, like those kinds of things. So for me, I like the categories more or less. I really like sticking to the theme because that kind of holds, projects accountable to something. But I don't have a lot of these on my criteria personally. But I mean, yeah, that's.
And what's your top 5 criteria? What's yours?
I've got impact, influence, reach. I've got cadence. But cadence to me is intonation. Maybe it encompasses voice. Maybe that's what we call it now. I'm not sure. So yeah, like those are mine.
All right, no doubt. These were good because again, I just stick to 5. This was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This was double what I'm used to, so I wasn't mad at it. I'm like I told y'all earlier, innovating rhythms. This shit sounds like People's Instinctives. What was the whole Tribe's first album name that I ain't know what the fuck that shit was about? Like People's Instinctives, rhythms, moving butts or something. I don't know what the fuck. So innovating rhythms, I don't even know. Call me stupid. I don't know what that is. They was cool. Trey, you tell me if mine intertwine with these. I got lyrics, storytelling, voice, flow, and impact. Are those
lyrics is vocabulary.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm trying to see what else. Yeah, lyrics is like vocabulary.
What about storytelling?
Storytelling is
sticking to themes.
Sticking to themes and creativity.
Yeah.
Creativity.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
voice is articulation.
Both.
Well, articulation is there.
Yeah.
See, you can have a voice, but you don't articulate the words.
No, I'm saying for my list, I got voice. He doesn't have voice, but does any of this shit mean voice?
Now, articulation, I think, is something
kind of, sort of. All right. What about flow? Is flow innovative?
Flow is innovative rhythms.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's innovative
I just need the dumbed down version. I just need the
This is the thing with these categories is like, what does it really encompass and why is it in layman's terms, right? Like,
and if you get the book, it'll break it down. Like the book breaks. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
They took the page out of the book and just left it there for everybody.
And he does. That's my bad. He does have voice up here. All right. So yeah, those are my 5: lyrics, storytelling, voice, flow, and impact. So that's mine. Rel, what are yours?
So what was the question? What
did you think of these categories? What do you think of these categories? And if you like, and then what are your 5 categories, top 5 categories that you want from an MC?
Okay, so the categories, they're cool. I like the fact that he took the time to break them down in this type of, in this type of structure with these different categories. My problem is that, like, the category is cool. How he scored some of it was just weird to me, like versatility. And then my thing is, like, I would like to know what, I guess, like Trey said, the book probably explain it, what he means by versatility, meaning the type of song I can make different types of songs or flow over different, like, what does versatility mean? Because some people got some very low scores who I think are pretty versatile, and then
Like, give me an example.
Give me an example. I want to hear this.
Jay-Z got a 7 for versatility, but Jay-Z can
damn near make any type of song you want.
He can make any type of song you want.
Well,
like
hold on,
Jenny. Hold on. 97.
97.
Like 97. Was he making versatile songs?
And keep in mind, the second album, that was Jay trying to figure out how to make radio songs.
Okay, so here's where the problem lies. But you gave him a 10 for records.
Right. Because he made some good records, but that don't mean that they versatile.
But here's my thing. There was a lot of street and commercial records on these albums. So if you give them a 10 for records, you got to give them a higher score on versatility. You feel what I'm saying? Because
what is he talking about in these records, though?
Here's my thing. You have Can't Knock the Hustle, right? Mm-hmm. You have Imaginary Player.
Streets is watching. This shit was mean.
All of that is street. All of that is street.
It's all street shit.
All of it street.
Hold on. And then you have Ain't No Nigga.
That wasn't street.
It is.
I mean, he's talking with a girl, but he's talking to a girl, but it's still street. There's no versatility in these records.
Yeah,
so here's my problem though. Here's my problem. You can't give him a 10 in records if you think this stuff is not. If you can't give him a 10 in records if you're saying that his stuff is just one-sided, one track. Because that's not.
Can I give you an example? I believe
they're dope. They're dope.
I believe Pusha T, out of the 5 albums he released, two of them are 5 mics. I believe Pusha T is one of the dopest MCs ever, and he's been talking about coke since 1997.
I love Pusha T. I love
versatility makes incredible fucking records. I was just listening to the goddamn re-up mixtape the other day, and
here's what I'm saying. When I said Volume 1, I got looked at like Volume 1's not good, but he got a 10 in records. You feel what I'm saying?
No, I was saying as far as versatility. I was just saying that was Jay trying to learn how to make radio records. So he was trying his hand at Big's formula. And I think Jay said himself, he didn't get the formula until he finally got with JD and did that Money Ain't a Thing. So all the Sunshine and The City Is Mine and all that other bullshit, I Know What Girls Like and all that shit, he's trying to make radio songs. So they're not, what? I said wrong title? Oh, yeah, it's just a horrible song? What I'm saying is, but I don't think at that time, in my opinion, Jay was a versatile MC. I wouldn't looked at Jay because even on Ain't No Nigga, he's still talking drug shit just on a more up-tempo song to get radio spins. But what he's talking about is drug shit. It's just for a chick.
All right, I disagree, but
that's cool.
No, I love it. This is the part I was waiting on. This is where you get it.
But no, because I have a problem. I have a problem with some of like for instance, like Mystical is getting these scores just for being different. That don't mean it was dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's where the subjectivity comes in.
But here's the thing. Let me ask you this, because this is the first thing I always like to say. Have you heard a whole Mystical album? Have you heard all of Mystical's music up to this point?
I heard a whole Mystical album, but again, just because I don't like it doesn't mean that somebody else shouldn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, but I'm saying when you make a list like this, you know what I'm saying, it leaves it open to this type of interpretation of people. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just giving the way that I'm looking at it. You know what I'm saying? And if vocabulary and articulation, do they go hand in hand, kinda?
I would agree.
Because
see, this is it.
Well,
I don't
agree.
This is where I like to shut the fuck up and let the MCs talk, because
that was a question.
It doesn't, but America does.
And if I could answer it, you know, and sidebar, this is, you know, theoretically speaking. But if we're talking from the Webster's or the Oxford Dictionary, version and using that as a basis for my thesis on vocabulary and articulation. Trey laughs every time I do this shit.
Nice.
Right? I have to say, you can't have articulation without vocabulary, right? Because it doesn't make sense. That's like saying I know how to ride a bike without pedals.
Mayor, what is articulation mean?
But let's do this. Let me do this. Let's do this because I
mean to say it clearly, right?
The whole
that's it.
The whole what's a producer conversation from last week turned into niggas going to Webster's dictionary. I don't want to do Webster's dictionary.
No.
What does that shit mean to y'all?
No. But that's the thing, though. You can't give mad definitions for what something means, bro. That's not
but
right.
Here's the thing, bro. But when you look at it like this, it's like, and I said this on the timeline. Somebody was talking about, well, Killer, record producer has always been what you call a project manager since the beginning of time. And I'm like, well, truth be told, from the beginning of time, guess what? White folk been trying to steal our publishing and our artistry and all that shit since the beginning of time. So I'm not going to go with what Webster says.
That's real.
Webster's definition of a turntable is not what a turntable is in 2022.
Okay.
We got to re-up on some definitions.
Facts. But let's do this then. Fuck it. Not even use Webster's, right? Let's just use commonality definition of what a vocabulary is. Let me switch the verbiage and put it in a place where it's palatable for everybody.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I love it.
So vocabulary meaning that word usage. Do I have a pool of words that I can pull from and that I use in my vernacular when I speak?
Yes, sir.
Freely, and I move through beats with this shit, and you can tell that I'm not reading it and then trying to rap it. Vocabulary, right? Articulation, meaning that am I clear?
Yes.
Am I concise?
Yes.
And it's how I use the vehicle of my vocabulary to get it across to you so you can understand and hear what I'm saying. So they're in harmony with each other. You can't
say that about everything, but you could say that because then you could say that sticking to themes is also hand in hand with vocabulary and articulation. Are they one and the same? No.
But you can have a limited vocabulary
and pulling from your pool of articulation to create sticking to themes. Come on.
You can have a very limited vocabulary, but articulate well. You can have a limited vocabulary, but articulate very well.
That's exactly
you get
what I'm saying.
You get a 5-year-old rhyming, they may have pure diction, but they only got the 5-year-old vocabulary. So
thank you. That's all I'm saying. But listen, and sticking to themes it's like he should have put that thesis because that's all it is for the record.
That's the fact.
If the record is about flowers and I'm rapping about guns and roses, am I still rapping about flowers creatively? I'm sticking to a theme, and that's not something that we can say, you're not sticking to the theme. To stick to a theme, you have to use what? Vocabulary and articulation. Some of these things are in harmony, but they can exist and stand on their own as well. That's all I'm saying.
So articulation and vocabulary do as well.
Yeah, they can stand by themselves, yes, but when working together,
they're better.
Because
if you're able to articulate and you have a dope vocabulary,
yes, just like he said,
even better.
Yeah, just like he said.
That's also applicable to sticking to themes and to versatility. So all of these things really are hand in hand. Break it down that way.
No, you ODing. Versatility and sticking to themes has nothing. That has to do with how you write, not the tools you use to write it. Skill set versus what? Execution. Sticking to themes is the execution of you using your vocabulary and articulation to get to a point. Words are the vehicle to communication. Plato. We use these words to arrive at either some formal point in having a conversation like we're doing now. It's the same shit. Did I use my vocabulary and articulation right? Yes, because you understood me, and you may not like it, but you still understood what the fuck I was saying, which is fly, right? And I could love to disagree, and I agree with you that sticking to themes should be that you put it with vocabulary and articulation, but these are still standalone themes.
I'm just going based on what you said.
You're going on what Portia said.
No, I didn't say anything. I'm going.
I didn't say anything.
Here's the thing. At the end of the day, all of these things to me are what can equal out to somebody great. Because if you got a 10 in all these categories, it would mean you are the dopest MC. So it's kind of just like, I don't know if math, when I'm looking at a real report card with my teams, I'm looking at math, English, chemistry, biology. You get all A's in them. So they all, some go hand in hand together, but then they also stand alone. Like math really has, I guess maybe biology has something to do with math. I wasn't great in school, y'all. So maybe we should be talking. Maybe somebody who got on the honor roll should be talking. Any honor roll students up here? Because maybe I'm not the best one.
I'm definitely
I was one at a
list.
time. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I was Dean's list.
I think all these different categories kind of, they all come together to making a great rhyme. You know what I mean?
They come to make impact. All these
I
categories together, make an impact.
Create the impact.
Create the impact. If you know, and still all of this is speculation because there is no gauge to really measure the shit. So that's what makes the conversation fun.
And I think the other thing too is some of these, like I said, I got 5 categories that I stick to. Going to 10, that's too much to me. It's like I can make a top 10 GOAT list. If somebody say, Kill, make a top 50 GOAT list, nobody got shit for that. You want me to make a top 50 GOAT list, what's the bag? Because that's going to take time. And if it ain't no bag and it's just for shits and giggles, I ain't doing it. I got a top 10 list. That's where the shit stops. I can't go past. That's why I was sitting here like, I don't even know what half this shit means. I'm going to just go what I do. And if people could connect the dots, that's good. Kill, you've been waiting patiently, good brother. What did you think of these categories? And did they connect with you? And if not, what are your top 5 categories that you want from an MC?
The categories were alright. I mean, I felt, like I said before, I kind of felt just alright about the whole thing. For me, the top 5 categories in no particular order would be definitely lyrical content, definitely versatility, the ability to talk about different things. Actually, even though I said in no particular order, the number one thing for me is actually flow. I've got to sonically, I've got to want to listen to you. That's the foundation. I got to want to listen to you first and foremost. Then I got to, once I'm listening to you, it's important to me what you're saying. So I would say flow would be number 1, lyrical content would be number 2, versatility. Stage presence is very important to me because, well, before this, bubonic plague and all, I'm a very big show goer. I like going to shows and I need you to perform your music for me. Because if I'm just there to just listen to it, I could have did that in the car, I could have did that in the crib. So I'm very big on performance. And then honestly, style. Like it's important to me that my MCs have style, that they just kind of
what do you mean by
kind of control the room, just kind of that they're cool. Yeah, like all of that. Like all of that. Like they gotta be cool. Like musicians are supposed to be cool. Like not corny, not think. Yeah, like you supposed to see them and be like
2 names come to mind.
I'm supposed to be like, I'm supposed to.
That goes to stage presence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because you gotta have that confidence. That I mean, I hate to say swag. I hate to say swagger, but you gotta have that's supposed to separate you. Yeah, separate you from the thousands of other rappers. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Shorty looking right, and I want to see Homie looking cool. Like that's like that to me. That's important to me. So that's my.
That's a great point. That's a great point, Kill. Because I'm even thinking back to the Run DMCs and the L. When you saw Run DMC in the Adidas sweatsuit or with the no shoestrings, or you saw LL with the ring, or you saw Rick, or you saw people that would just fly. You saw Ray with the Snow Beach joint on. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like that's fly. Right. This is a great thing from what Kill said about flow being his number 1. Everybody think about this because I want to come back to this. What is your number 1 thing, and who on this list is the best in that category? So, like for instance, if Kill's number 1 is flow, I'm gonna come back around and ask him, who's on this list do you think has the best flow? If your number 1 thing is lyrics, who do you think is the best flower? Who has the best flow on this list? And whatever everybody's number 1 is, then who is the best on this list?
Pun.
And if you said Pun?
Pun is the best flow on this list.
Okay. Pun
is like
with the flow.
Yeah, for the flow, absolutely.
All right, no doubt. Shot, what did you think of the categories, and what are your top 5?
All right, the categories. I didn't know that there was a cheat sheet that, like, in the book it was defined, because as I was reading through it, each time I read the category, each category, I had a different take on it. So I'm like, they're very subjective, right? And I could imagine everyone's going to have that same view of, like, you might look at a category and rate it so differently, between two different artists, just because of how you perceive that artist. Like the conversation we were having on versatility, you might not be looking at different themes, but just maybe like different types of songs, and that might fit the bill for you. Whereas others, you might say, hey, I need you to talk about a bunch of different things. I actually I combined a bunch of the categories, similar to the conversation we were having earlier. Like, for me, I put voice and articulation together. I put creativity and innovative rhythms together. Nice. I mean, I know it could be flow, but it's, to me, it was kind of like how you decide to kind of ride the beat or do whatever. So I looked at that as part of the creativity. So my top 5 on this list were originality, creativity, but I paired that with innovative rhythms, voice and articulation, versatility, and the big one to me, although I guess we have some artists on the call so they can speak to it, but records. I feel like there's some artists I love, but they don't always make great records. Now, I know that oftentimes that's not completely in their control in terms of their management, their production, and all those other things, but that matters to me. I mean, I do want songs, and when I looked at the list, I said, okay, well, everybody here is somebody who has multiple records, so I could, for this instance right here, I could say records are very important. What have they put out, whether it's big hits that move me or whatever, but that matters to me.
Shaw, let me ask you a question. How did you take records? I took records as albums, but like you just said, we can take it different ways.
I took it as songs. I took it as songs too.
Okay. All right. Great point of that. It's funny that he has an 8 for Black Thought for versatility. And what the fuck do Thought rhyme about? Neither here nor there, but I just find that very intriguing because Thought don't rhyme about shit but a girl. So that's his versatility really shouldn't be that high. But Trey, you've been waiting for this. Categories. What you think, good brother?
Top 5?
Yeah. Well, what did you think of? I know. Well, you said you liked them. That you. I
love to break down. I love the categories. Because again, me myself personally, this is how I listen. And people that are that know me and in my circle, they call me the Russian judge, right? Because I listen. Because I you know what I'm saying? Because I break people down just like he got them broken down, just like this. You know what I'm saying? And this is even, just the way I listen to music in general. That's just how my ear is. Like I'm going to nitpick a little bit.
And the reason why I asked you this is because hold tight for 1 second. I'm sorry, Shab. What was your number one thing? Did you have a number one?
I would say songs is my number one.
And who would you say on this list has the best songs?
I wasn't prepared for that question before.
Well, we'll come back around.
Nah, I'm just gonna give an answer because I want to listen to the others without thinking about this right here anymore. I'm gonna go with the combination of X and Lauryn.
All right, dope. Trey, what I wanted to say was that the reason I'm so intrigued about you and Amir, because I know as a producer, I listen to beats different than the average listener. You know what I mean? So I would assume that as MCs, you guys are looking at your peers under a tighter microscope than probably what a producer or anybody else who does something else is. A bass player is going to listen to Raphael Sadiq differently the way that I listen to him in a D. So coming from an MC's perspective, what are your top 5? And do you have to make sure that you yourself have your own top 5 when you're making your songs?
Do I have to have my own top 5? Absolutely, without question. Like, and again, not only 5, I'm looking at every single one of these joints when I'm making my own personal. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at originality. I'm looking at creativity. I'm looking at articulation, vocabulary, voice, records, stage presence, sticking to theme, and innovative rhythms of flow. I'm looking at all of that when I do my own personal. Now, my top 5 on here is innovative rhythms and flow, not in any particular order. Innovative rhythms of flow, voice, records, vocabulary, and creativity. Those are my 5. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm making the record, you know what I'm saying? This is before we go, it's like an assembly line. This is before we even get to the stage where stage presence and all that other stuff comes in. You know what I'm saying? But in making records, those are my 5. Voice, innovative rhythms or flow, vocabulary, because that's how I interpret it. Vocabulary, creativity, and records.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? And number one for me, like I said before, it's the voice. If I and when I the tonals, if you can have vocabulary, creativity, flow, records, but if I can't get to the voice, I'm probably, it's just one listen. Be like, all right, I can't do it no more. You know what I'm saying?
You know who I could never get for years? J. Cole. Like when J. Cole was first starting, I mean, now I know J. Cole's voice has been forever, but like I would always hear him being on like maybe on an El Varner song, or he'd be a guest on somebody's song. I'd be like, yo, dude, it's nice, but his voice to me at that time was forgetful. It didn't never stand out to me to just know, like Mayor said, oh, that's J. Cole.
But here's the tricky thing about voice. If the voice is around long enough, you may become used to it.
Mm-hmm. Right, and that's what happened with J. Cole, because I hear him on El Varner, and I'd be like, yo, this dude is nice. But who is he? And then I hear him on Melody Fiona, and I'd be like, yo, this dude again. And it's funny because your voice can also be a downfall in the Action Bronson, who sounds just like Ghost. I can never listen to Action because I get like 3 songs in the album, and I'm like, nigga, I just want to hear Ghost. You know, your old Drew, who used to sound just like Nas, when he first came out, my man was playing a joke on me. He was like, yo, fam, need some old Nas demos joints. And I'm listening, I'm like, it sound like Nas, but it don't sound like Nas. So your voice can also be a downfall. But I think it's like Guru said, it's mostly the voice. And me and Yao argue about Guru all the time because Yao thinks Guru is whack. And I'm like, yo, Guru is a dope MC. No, he's not super lyrical miracle, but to me, when we're talking about versatility, he's made songs about girls, he's made songs about soliloquy of chaos, we go into the party, he's made Just to Get a Rap, he's made JFK. Like Guru on the low has been a very dope songwriter, storyteller, all those things through the years. Not the most lyrical, but he has a dope voice. And I think if he didn't have that voice, he wouldn't have had the career. CL has a very, distinctive voice that I know that people just love. They be like, I don't know what CL's talking about half the damn time, but it sounds good because his voice is so good. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what half these topics are, but the voice sounds so good. So who do you think has the best voice on this list?
Ah, man. The one that sticks out to me, they got to be Big, man.
I said the same thing in my head.
Like the tone of Big's voice is just like, this shit is undeniable. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it feels good. It feels right. On every record. Even if you don't like the record, the voice just feels right. It's just like, wow, it's amazing. That's the reason why he was such a, like, it's those little things with Big that made him such a special talent. And that voice, man, that voice.
That's dope. That's dope. Amir, what about these joints, the categories, and then what are your top 5 categories for an MC?
Well, to roll off of, for me, like, and I'm a judge it by my own standards when I record, right? Like, one thing I always focus on is, does my voice sound like me? I have to know, do I sound like me? I don't want to jump on a record and I sound like, because if I know that I don't sound right, or my shit is scratchy or whatever, sometimes you can get away with those little nuances in the mix, right? But you want to make sure that my voice is how I posture myself on a record, right? So I will go with that first. Then I would, the underlying thing will be flow, right? So I guess in this case, innovating rhythms on here, right? Creativity, originality, and then I will go with either, vocabulary or articulation depending on the texture of the record. That's for me. And I would hold most other artists to that same standard. That's just a baseline approach for me.
Right. All right, that's dope. Of course, what was your number 1 category, and who is the best at your number 1 category?
I would say voice and Big would be my number 1. Also, just to add, like, part of my criteria also for my, like, and I don't know what that would fall under, though, is like, poetic devices, like technical ability. So I don't know in Moe Dee's thing what that means. And for me,
what does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, for me, what that means is like poetic device usage, because to me, MCs are poets, and they're poetic regardless of how they're rapping. So and that's what differentiates an MC from a rapper, right? Because an MC can be poetic, and can use poetic devices, whatever they're talking about. And to me, like Big did that flawlessly. So I just wanted to put that out there. And obviously,
what's a poetic device though? What's a poetic device?
Just like similes, alliterations, like comparisons, using the same letters, using the same rhyme schemes. Big did it flawlessly all throughout every single one of his songs. He did it in some way, shape, or form where actual like literary, profs have broken down things and have talked about how intricate these rhyme schemes are, because it's not easy. It's not easy to do when you're talking, let alone when you're, trying to fit it in a beat pattern against a whole slew of production behind you. Like it's wild. So to me, Big, just whatever voice encompasses in Moe Dee's world, in our world, Big is number one. Like nails it out of the park. Like no one comes close to that.
All right, no doubt. JR, what's your number one and who's the dopest in it?
Mine is Flow, and the Brooklyn head would be Big for me. For real, with his flow, it would be Big.
The wild part is I don't even know which one is number one, but it'd be Big for all of them. If I wanted to say lyrics, it'd be Big. Storytelling is going to be Big. Voice is Big. Flow and impact. Yeah. It's all Big across the board for me, number one in all them categories. We did Shy and Kill. Rel, who's number one? What's your number one category and who's the person?
My number one is, and I want to, before I say that, I almost shed a tear with what Porsche just said, because that's right up my alley. The literary genres and devices that you use is what it really impresses me. And as a former language arts teacher, I'm into that real heavy. So, and when you see these MCs that are able to mix different genres and tactics using the English language, all different ones within one song sometimes, you know what I'm saying? It's impressive. As in the past, trying to teach kids how to write and critically think and use some of these things to write their papers and to express themselves on paper, to see some of these MCs do that over a beat while sticking to a subject is just, it's impressive, you know what I'm saying? And so for me, lyrics and vocabulary, I kind of put them together, is the number one for me. Flow is number two. Lyrics and vocab for me is Nas. Flow is Big.
Okay. All right. And Trey, you said Big. Amir, did you say who your number one? What your number one category is, and who?
I would say lyrics, man, for me.
Okay.
And if I, keep it a buck, man, like, I think some of these dudes have lyrics, but for shit's sake to make you mad, I'm gonna go with Black Thought tonight, just to piss you off.
For everybody watching.
Is lyrics vocabulary? Is lyrics vocabulary?
I know what, and under this umbrella here, I would say yes, according to this.
And with vocabulary, you're saying Black Thought.
Yeah, I think.
No, he said lyrics, right? Oh, you said vocabulary.
So you said for the sake of this.
Yeah, lyrics will be vocabulary.
To this chart,
yeah.
He's saying vocabulary, and with vocabulary, he's saying Black Thought.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And everybody watching, I love Black Thought. To me, he's just not a good storyteller, and that's like my number two category. If I don't know what number one is, I know storytelling is hella important for me. And to me, Thought does not tell stories. He's the Russell Westbrook of hip hop for me. He's one speed. He's gonna go off to the races, and that's just me. You know what I mean? But so it's no knock. People think I don't like Thought. Nothing could be further from the truth. Like I told niggas on that last
I think I agree with
don't make me pull out my Roots motherfucking catalog over here. Okay, because niggas always want to talk shit about I don't fuck with Thought, but nigga, do you own 5 Roots albums? I own every album, 12-inch, fucking box sets just laying around. So before y'all niggas get at me on Twitter like you don't fuck with Thought, show me your Roots collection first before you come at me. What's up, Trey?
Okay, so in 1997-98, for argument purposes, is Black Thought still number 1 with regards to vocabulary on this list?
You talking to me, not me.
Know what? I'm gonna keep it up. If we talking vocabulary, bro, keep the buck list. Keith might in the top 3. Like you might have to switch it to Keith, because he was saying shit niggas didn't even know what the fuck the word was. So if I'm gonna recalibrate what I say,
that shit sounded
I would
great.
say Keith. Because the most beautiful list was the thing, and he
got a 10. Yep.
Yeah, you got the super syllables. Remember, I don't know what he's saying. Shit, he had people in the hood picking up dictionaries for real.
Mythological niggas is comical.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's crazy. All right, don't show real quick. What's everybody listening to this week? Porsche, what you listening to this week?
I'm listening to just some old stuff. I was spinning Mecca and the Soul Brother. That's all.
Can't never go wrong with the Vernonville. JR, what you been listening to?
Motown.
Shocker.
That's my vibe. That's what I've been listening to.
Any specific album?
Oh, you know Motown didn't have good albums in the 60s, so I'm listening to songs. We didn't get to good albums until the 70s, so no. Don't
you know what, JR? We're going to do a whole nother show on that. Because on that, what you just said, that Motown didn't make good albums.
In the 60s? Absolutely not.
All right. We because I want to learn about that, because I think my perception is the albums were incredible, where maybe it was just the songs were great and the albums weren't great. But we'll talk about that. You the Google, bro. I'm going to just sit around and ask you questions. Ralph, what you listening to this week?
Listening to Magic, of course.
Okay.
Nas, and ironic because I got into a debate about something that I'm not gonna bring up because it'll turn. We'll be here all night. But listening to some Michael Jackson, because
just give us the topic.
Don't start. I know where you go.
Oh, I know where you go.
No,
I know.
So
the whole Quincy Jones thing.
No.
Okay.
It's worse. So Jay-Z says something about Beyonce in comparison to Michael Jackson.
Leaving.
Oh,
okay.
no.
They are the left. Straight on. Horses off. What the hell? What did he say?
He said
everybody just got up and left.
He kind of implied that she was on his level or better.
Okay. So he
and it drove me crazy because she's not even better than Janet to me.
Okay.
So how can you say she's better than Michael? And so that drove me to go listen to Michael.
He was
can I say one thing?
That's what it was.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah.
How long has it been since he got caught cheating?
Good point.
Who, Jay?
And I know where you're going with this.
Everybody knows me.
So he's overdoing
the
it.
marriage counselor.
I got you.
If you cheat,
I don't even think he did it for that reason.
Nigga, that's like 7 years of bankruptcy. So it was some dumbass pictures Jay was taking with Beyonce where he looked looked like a nut. You know what I mean? And niggas laughing. I'm like, dog, you on punishment. Like he still may be on punishment. So you may have to cap sometimes and say, hey, Beyonce the biggest artist ever. You know what I mean? He may not even believe in himself, but you know what? Right. If he's still under his 7-year bankruptcy, he may be on his last year, and that may have to been the big thing to get off punishment. You know how it used to be when you get on punishment as a kid. It'd be some big shit right before you get off. Clean your room, clean the house, paint the deck. Like this may be his last year. He about to get off probation, so he may have to say some wild stuff. Again, if you cheat, nigga, you're gonna be on punishment for 7 years. If you don't want to be on punishment, you can leave. You don't have to stay. You could have left. But if you do the crime, if you want to stay in America, nigga, you going to jail. Go to Mexico if you don't want to do the time. That's what happens when you cheat.
Get off this, please.
I'm sorry, Jay. I see you. That's why. I got left. Trey left. Porsche turned the camera off. I'm like, man, what did Jay say today? Like,
that's why I want to bring it up because it bothered me the same way, and it made me. I broke out, start listening to Off the Wall and stuff like that. That's what made me start.
Mike. All right, Kill. What you listening to this week, bro?
Just all kind of random shit. I was listening to Janelle Monáe and Christina Aguilera, the Back to Basics joint.
That's my favorite album from her. Yeah.
Who?
With Christina Aguilera.
Back to Basics, right?
Yeah.
That joint that Kwame did is crazy on it. Yeah. Very good.
But just that and just all kind, just I don't know. Then I had YouTube on and like just random videos was playing and just listen. I don't even want to say, but just especially not with no real MCs in the building. I don't want no problems. I don't want no problems.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Nah. just random stuff. Yeah.
All right. What about you, Sha?
I've been listening to meetings at work. But my goal for this weekend is to break out some of the Fabulous Soul tapes because I realized that I haven't really given them a good listen, and so I know I know. So I'm looking forward to consuming those this weekend. So yeah, that's my plan for the weekend.
All right, no doubt. Trey, what you been listening to?
Well, actually, what I've been listening to is from this book. You probably already read it.
Oh yeah. Well, you know what? I haven't started. I got it. Haven't started it yet because I'm like 8 books behind.
I have it too, but I haven't started it.
What book is that?
It's the Music is History book by Questlove.
So like everything.
I need to order that.
From that going back to 77, is it?
It starts from 72, from 71. It starts from 71 when he's born, all the way to now. And so there are records in this book that he mentions, and like I'll just show you a page. There's a bunch of records, and he compares music to the year that it came out and the historical themes that are surrounded by that particular year and relates it to different songs. So I just been reading the book and looking at the songs and then going to YouTube and just listening to all the records, man. It's a lot of records I've never heard before. A lot of some records that I have heard before, but just listening to it in a different space compared to the year that it came out and all the historical things that happened in that particular year and how how it all ties together. So I'm thoroughly enjoying this, man. I'm on, and I'm taking my time with it. So I'm up to year 1976, and great read, by the way. So
that's a dope idea to do that too. And since both of us got it, we got to do the book club joint. Well, Porsche, we still got to do the book club. I apologize. We still got to do the book club on the joint you was talking about too.
Yeah.
All right.
The history of gangster rap.
Right. Yeah. The history of gangster rap. Amir, what you been listening to this week, good brother?
Don't kill me. I've been listening to, honestly, bro, Gunna. His album came out, but I just wanted to hear what they was using. I listened to Gunna. I was listening to The Weeknd. I was talking to my OG. He told me to go back into the lab and listen to some old like R&B. He actually told me to go listen to Groove. Like I was not told me, but the Groove Theory album. But who was the chick? What's her name? Imelda Rue. I went back and listened to that. I was listening to a lot of soundtracks with loose records on it. A lot of cool, I think to some dude soundtrack records that didn't make albums were put together well because and honestly, bro, just this week I've been really focusing on those 3 albums. I think I played the most, and I played some Party Next Door. I think his records is fire. I like him, and I played I played Party and I'm going back to my man Vori, and that was it. That's what I've been stuck on. A lot of stuff I listen to when I'm writing mode. I kind of like, I don't want to listen to people that make shit like I make. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That's a dope point. And for me, I've been on this big sleepover joint, man. Big Boy and Sleepy Brown. It dropped. maybe a month ago, but so much stuff was coming out in between, the Nas and all this, so I'm just going back to that. The bad thing
How
with
is
me,
it, man?
I like it. To me, if you like Big Boy, you'll like it.
Yeah, I do.
You know what I mean? Like, so
and I like Sleepy too, so I'm a definitely.
It's literally that. It's that simple. If you fuck with Big, you'll fuck with this joint. It's right up the alley. The bad part is once I get a song in my head, it just stays on repeat. Like JR, this fool put me on to the Shindellas, and I wish he never put me on to the Shindellas. I don't know if y'all heard this album. I love this album, the Shindellas. I mean, Volcano Love, bro. Yo, I cannot.
7 minutes is the shit.
I will listen to that. I got a 45-minute commute to work, and I can listen to that song all the way to DC.
Yo,
like, that's how much I mess
Chuck
with
Harmony and Chloe Kelly did what they needed to do on that record. Like,
no doubt.
And I gotta add, because I forgot, my homie sent me this group called Free Nationals. I don't know if anybody heard of it.
Oh yeah, Anderson .Paak crew.
Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
They got this one record
shit,
that I know I listen to is fire. Oh my god. Yeah.
Anderson .Paak is dope. Book of the week right here, Porsche. I know you got it. Rap is Risen. Very dope picture book. Incredible. I mean, just some incredible pictures in here. I mean, we talking about Big. Just the incredible. You got Havoc. You know what I mean? Just some incredible dope pictures.
Who's the book by?
This is by Sue Kwan.
I'm in that book. I'm in that book.
I haven't even gone through the whole joint yet.
Yeah, it's gonna pop up on you.
You got the Pete Rock Soul Survivor sessions in here and everything like that. So again, you know, me and Portia the bookworms, so we keep the book. Shameless plugs here for all my peoples. Hip Hop Don't Stop. Trey Lee's wife just dropped this joint on Amazon. Very dope kids book that y'all gotta support. Lori Nelson Lee on Amazon. Very dope book. You also got Trey Lee, The Glory, the manuscript, the making of the album. We got that. Other shameless plugs. We got my man again, album of the year last year for me. Amir, first signed to Pete Rock's new record label, Amir. Very dope album right there. Apartment 5B is sponsored by What is the Scenario Game. If you've ever watched us play this game, this shit is we're going to play this all night because I've not won this game on my own podcast. And we are going to start playing this game.
We have to do that. We have to do a game night.
We're not going to have a game night. We're going to have a game day because I'm not getting off this podcast until I win. So we're going to be here all goddamn night playing this game until I win. So I think JR won. He an R&B dude. How he beat me? Porsche won. Everybody has won but me. So we're going to play this game. But definitely check this out. You can get this at sowhatgames.com. You put in the promo code Apartment 5B, you get free shipping. And for my low brethren, prayerfully y'all have checked out this book, Low Life. If not, y'all got to get this book. It's incredible. Y'all being from Brooklyn and Queens during this time, I know you would love this book even more. Trey, tell them everything you got going on. Where can they get everything, Glory? What's coming out next for you?
Oh man, well, definitely go get Glory at TracyLeeMusic.com. That's TraCeylee music.com. That's where you can get all the music, the merch. You can get Glory the album, you can get Glory the manuscript, you can get Glory the hoodie and all of that, you know what I'm saying? Sweatshirt, t-shirt, everything else. We got a song Butter Soft that's still bubbling out there, man, and actually it's about to start picking up steam again in February. There's some things coming down the pipeline with regards to that single. Yeah, man, just I'm finally back in creative mode, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, by reading books like Music is History and just listening to different sounds and all that kind of stuff, I think we're going to start working on a new project. I don't know if it's going to be an album. I don't know if it's going to be an EP. I don't know if it's just going to be a couple of loose records that we're going to throw out there, but just stay tuned for some new music in 2022. For TracyLeeMusic.com and subscribe on YouTube, Left spelled with 2 L's, LLEFT TV. That's Left spelled with 2 L's, TV on YouTube.
All right, bro, let them know about everything you got going on, the shirts, you know what I mean? Since we talking about alliteration and everything, we got the shirts popping. Yeah. Talk a little bit about the shirts.
So the shirts, actually, I have a clothing line called Fair Grade that I started a little over a year ago. And, I did one shirt based off of something we talked about on this show, which is those poetic devices that Portia mentioned, and how a lot of people use them and the definitions of them incorrectly. So, Kill gave me the idea to do, redefinition, how we define hip hop, and make shirts. And basically the first shirt was alliteration, and it was, the definition and then an example from an MC. And it was part of one of Rakim's verses from Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em, which was a prime example of the use of alliteration. And I made a few shirts from it, and then some things happened. I got a new job, I bought a house, and I kind of just got caught up in life things. And then I'm just recently getting over being sick, so I gotta get back into my groove and doing so. So in the coming weeks, me and my daughter are working on something as well. So in the coming weeks, I have some more stuff out. Also, you probably don't know that I was once an MC. I haven't wrote a rhyme in about 6 years, and somehow I got inspired. So I'm working on some things just on my own, just to just to get the creative juices flowing. So look out for that. And Uptown J Ben on the gram, and JBen215 on Twitter. Also, if y'all watching this, take care of your health, man. Health is important. Yes. I just went through the scariest part of my life, bro. And take care of yourself, man, and be careful with all this stuff going on around here, man. Whether your vaccination views and status, I'm not here to influence you to do anything like that, but take care of yourself and your family, man, first, because your health is the most important thing. So that's it.
Glad you're here, brother. Glory to God, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, no doubt. Real had me shook. I'm like, nigga, you need me to bring you over a care package or something, man?
Yeah. So, I was one day away from asking you to do that, but I you know where I went. I ran to mom's.
Right. That's what you do.
Yeah.
But like I said, B, don't even hesitate. That ain't shit to me to do that. I'm all over anyway. Kill, where can they get at you, man? Are you on the gram? Where you at, man? Where can they follow
me?
Brooklyn? Yeah, you.
Me?
Yeah. You on the gram be having me rolling with your jokes, man. Y'all need some comedy.
Yeah, I'm on.
Follow right here.
All right, so I'm on IG at Kilkenny718. That's KILKENNY 718. I just post little stuff here and there, try to keep things a little light, these days. But other than that,
you comic relief, good brother.
But it was really, I really was glad I joined you all. I really learned a lot. I was really honored to be part of this, and it's funny, just real quick, Porsche. Porsche. It's funny because I was watching, because I've always felt Big was the best, right? But I couldn't quite figure out why I liked him so much. And it was when I was watching, I think that special, I think it was on Netflix, and it was the dude he knew that was like a jazz performer, a drummer. And he was talking about how to use his voice and then like those little things. I was like, that's it. It's like it's subconsciously, you don't even realize that's what's going on. But like you said, the poetic tools and all of that. Like, so it was nice to hear someone else break it down, you and Rel, and talking about those things, because it's interesting how talented and deeply talented people are. Like our wordsmiths are. You don't even really realize these things until someone puts them in words. It's like, you just like someone. You're like, I don't know why I like him or her, but I just, there's something that really pulling me to that. So it was really, and it's ironic because I was talking, like I told you, Trey, I was, when I was telling my mans at work that I was going to be on this podcast, and I was like, yeah, the dude, Tracy Lee from Philly, be on there. And at first, he was like, he's a Bronx guy. So he was like, who? I was like, come on, man. You know the dude, man. And I was like, yo, before I even started playing the song, I was like, yo, yeah, everywhere that my crew goes. And he was like, oh, yeah, I know that song. And then we played the joint with you and Big. And then that got us to start to talking about, like, who was the best or whatever. And then I was like, yo, I'm going to play you this song right here. And this is why Big is the best, because it touches on everything. And I played Niggas Bleed. And I was like, because this song has everything. I said it's a story, be. I said, first he's talking to his man. His man is telling him to go kill the dude, but then don't rob him. Then he gets to the hotel and then he sees the chick. And then he goes into like the little story about the chick and what that went on. Then he's talking from her perspective. It was just so much. So then to, come and end off the night in this discussion, I was really honored to be amongst y'all. You know what I mean? Yeah. But that's all. That's all.
Good looking, bro, man. Like I said, bro, y'all family. It's an open chair for you. Any Thursday night, you don't got shit to do, chop it up, brother. It's an open chair, and I mean that. Sha, where can they get at you, good brother? I know you low key on social media.
I'm very low key on social media. I just chime in on Kill's jokes. That's all I do. I really don't do much online. I'm old school. Man, I'm a lurker.
All right. Well, same thing, brother.
I own that. I passed in my lurker.
Any Thursday you free, bro. Again, open door policy with y'all, man. Anytime y'all want to jump in. Amir, what's going on, man? We want to know. We want to know when is it coming? When is the album produced by Pete Rock coming?
I don't have a date still. I know it's done, and I guess with everything happening, it may be some readjustments. I don't know.
Right.
So as far as Dope Boy Soul, man, we still cooking up joints. I gotta, I've been cooking. So yeah, I don't. It's TBA for that. I think he did have a date for his that project, the Peace Minerals, but that was put into play like I think last year. So I guess due to COVID, a lot of things, kind of, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, what I learned is that when you press up vinyl, it's like a 90-day window now, if I'm not mistaken, as opposed to before it was shorter.
What you mean, like?
That's because of the shipping, right?
The shipping and COVID, they pushed it. Yeah, you usually could get one done like a month or two, right? But now it's like another extra, like it's like 90 days. So if you want to do a release and you want to do a vinyl, it puts it, it pushes it back with the vinyl companies. So so I got that going on. I got a new video we just dropped, Bull Rap. It probably ain't got no numbers on it because we didn't service it yet. So that's on YouTube. We dropped the other day. And just interviews coming up, man. I'm always here with you guys, and I got some other stuff coming up. Peace, beloved merchant. This is day-to-day working, man. BAU, business as usual.
All right, no doubt. And again, until that Dope Boy Soul drops, you cannot go wrong. I can't big this up enough. How dope this album is. I mean, you got 19 joints, all produced by Pete. Amir spitting. Very dope album to hold you down to Dope Boy Soul. JR, where can they get at the R&B Google, good brother?
The R&B Rats, me and Elise, we got our video that we just put out Monday. We talked about Adriana Evans' debut. We talked about it with Dar Adams, which was dope. You can catch us on YouTube on the R&B Representatives.
I love Porsche so much. If anybody out there ever wants to know why Porsche is my co-host here, it's literally like in that scene in Bridesmaids where we can just talk to each other without even saying anything. It's just literally I could just look and it's just like
I looked at Porsche and she told me all I need to know.
It's fucking magical, y'all. But keep going, JR.
So then we coming back with Catch That Minis this week. And then next week, our interview with Tracy Lee will be coming out. And we are talking about intro albums. So that we're
people sleep on that first intro album, man.
That's what we're talking about with Tracy. Yeah. That we went in every song, all that. Like it's so dope. So that's gonna be not this week, but next week. But me and Alicia's doing interviews. We got some big interviews lined up, so that's dope. But you can follow us on R&B Representatives on Instagram, R&B Reps on Twitter, the R&B Representatives on YouTube, and JR's World of Soul on Instagram, Naturally Elise on Instagram, and yeah, that's that.
All right, no doubt. People out there don't know Trey used to sing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Trey was
said that on the episode.
Eric Roberson. Like that's the craziest thing to me. Like,
yeah, man.
Well, one day
that's
you have to play us a demo or something, bro. You got to play us a demo, man.
We'll see.
Sound a little sketchy there, bro.
Yeah, this R&B joint. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
let me find out y'all bet. Was your crew battling Shy at Howard back then?
Nah, Shy came out. I mean, because they came out, they kind of was the springboard to us kind of making some headway. Because once they started making noise, and everybody wanted to come up to the campus and say, okay, so what else y'all got? So then that's when we started maneuvering a little bit. You know what I mean? But yeah.
All right.
I might mess around and make an R&B album and do it under an alias, and y'all gonna be like, and never know it was me. Like, you know what I mean?
Nah, because you know you're gonna kick a rhyme. You know it's gonna be a verse in there somewhere. You gonna drop a 16.
Nope. I'm gonna just do a straight singing, John, and y'all ain't even gonna know it's me. Y'all gonna just be like, "Oh, this nigga is hot."
Is your voice that different? Is your singing voice that different?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Let me find out. I swear to this day, Michelle A. still. I was listening to Michelle A's first album. It still bugs me out that she can sing like that, but then she talks totally different. Like that's literally one of the strangest things in the world to me that she can do that. Porsche, where can they get at you, miss? Everything you need to know about Porsche, because niggas is always asking me about Porsche, and I tell them she don't like Drake and she fucking loves Pete Rock. If you just stay in that lane, you be good money. Porsche, where can they get at you?
Just on Twitter at Cherchez Porsche. Sorry, I'm laughing because Kill always does this, and it's just a running joke at this point. So don't mind my laughter. At Cherchez Porsche on Twitter, and we do Twitter Spaces on Mondays at 6:15 Pacific Standard Time and 9:15 Eastern Time. And last week it was a dope conversation with JR and Elise about R&B. Just based off of a conversation Kill stirred up on the TL, and
he always do.
Which
no, I didn't. In all honesty, somebody tweeted me and asked me where did the soul go in R&B. I didn't stir up shit.
No, I ain't talking about that. You did stir up something in the episode.
Here's the thing.
About
let's define stir up. Okay.
What'd you say about Babyface?
He said he ain't no soulful producer.
To me, he's not soulful. I mean,
you see what I'm saying? You got the same reaction,
so don't talk about it here.
Don't talk about it because we got to talk about this on the thing.
Oh, this is what we talking about on Monday?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I ain't fucking know. Everybody knows with me, Kill 889, Twitter, IG, everywhere. Yo, whoever gifted me with this is some type of Spotify flag of me and my man King James EP we dropped last year, the first 48.
How did you get that with knowing who gave it to you?
Right, they didn't put
This is what happens. I'm blessed that people always DMing me like, Kill, if I send you the sweatshirt, will you wear it? Different things. Kill, yo, your message on the timeline, bless me. What's your address? Want to bless you with something. I looked at the return address. It's from a shipping spot in Queens, but I mean this joint is so dope. Like I opened this, I felt like I won a BET award or some shit. Like this shit is just dope. If you put your camera up to it, it opens it up in Spotify. So whoever gave this to me, please shout me out. I gotta thank you for this because this shit is dope. I appreciate all y'all. I will check y'all next week, y'all.
Yeah, guys.